March 5th, 2026 regular session of the Clarksville City Council is now called to order. Pastor Kenneth Level, House of Praise Church of God in Christ on Peters Mill Road, will be our chaplain of the day. The Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Councilman Lovato. Ladies and gentlemen, I invite you to please stand if you wish, and Pastor Level.
Everyone can pray in their own special and unique way. Let us pray. Lord God, first of all, we thank you. Thanking you most of all for another day that you have made, and we're glad about it. Lord God, I lift up before you all these that are in public office, especially this local council and our mayor. I ask, Lord God, that you grant them wisdom, discernment, and courage to make decisions that serve the people well. Guide them to lead with integrity, humility, and justice. May your protection be upon them and their families. And Lord God, we ask you to also protect our first responders, especially them that are currently in harm's way. We pray our presence be here today to bring peace, unity, and kindness, that this council work in unity for the common good. We need these type of leaders today, Lord, that we may lead peaceful, quiet lives. So, Lord God, I invoke your blessings upon this meeting today. Bless the hearts and minds of this council, that even with disagreements, peace and kindness can prevail. For Scripture states, let us do all things decently and in order. We ask this in the name that is above every name, Jesus our Lord. Amen and amen.
Members, please register your attendance. Madam Clerk, we can't see it on the screen.
Are you not here? All members are present.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Councilman Clouch, let me recognize you for a special recognition.
Thank you, Mayor Pitts. Ladies and gentlemen, I respectfully ask that we take a moment of silence for our service members who have made the ultimate sacrifice. Thank you. A poem that is both sombering and hopeful. May the roads rise to meet you. May the winds always be at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face. The rains fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Clouch. Very fitting. Councilman Brown, you have a recognition, and you are recognized in the well, sir, and I'll meet you down there.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. We put together this proclamation to recognize the Clarksville Jeep crew for all their support of this community during the inclement weather. And so I'd like to ask the representatives of the Clarksville Jeep crew to come up. And then the mayor give us the Cliff Notes version of the proclamation.
I think he was trying to tell me to be brief. I get the hint, Councilman. All right. One of the things we love about our city is when there is a need, our city rallies and to the challenge. So on behalf of the Clarksville City Council, to the members of the representatives of the Clarksville Jeep Crew, we thank you, and it is our honor to present this proclamation to you in appreciation of the work you did during that once in a, they say generation, but it's becoming once in a year weather event. The storm response included participation of 59 volunteers with 8 dispatchers and 36 active drivers, totaling 1,293 volunteer hours and more than 325 documented vehicle recoveries and 115 rides. Assisted vehicles including 3 semi-trucks, 1 police vehicle, thank you very much, 2 ambulances, again, thank you, and numerous civilian and commercial vehicles. Now, therefore, I, Joe Pitts, Mayor of the City of Clarksville, at the request of and in cooperation with Councilman Jimmy Brown, do hereby encourage all citizens, especially those in the room tonight, of Clarksville to join us in recognizing and honoring the heroic contributions of the Clarksville Jeep Crew. Let's give them a round of applause.
Thank you. We'd just like to say thank you all for your support. We wouldn't be here without our membership and our members and, you know, this great group of admins and moderators that we put together to run what we do. And we don't do this for the recognition, but we do appreciate the recognition, and we want to continue to pledge our support to the city of Clarksville anytime there's a need.
Thank you. Now we get a picture, or it didn't happen, right? On another serious but yet important recognition is we're proclaiming March 2026 as Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month. This disease affects far too many people. Is Roger Green in the house? There they are, right there. And your son? He didn't come? Okay, all right. Okay, his friend, bring his friend on up. Bring him on up, yeah. Let's have a party.
She is actually in the hospital.
Okay.
She should be out tomorrow.
Okay, good. Good news. Well, it is our honor on behalf of the City Council and the City of Clarksville to declare that March 2026 is Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month, and we call on the observance of this month and call it to the attention of our citizens. Roger, will you talk a little bit about colorectal, or do you want to?
She's been in sorry. So she should be out of the hospital tomorrow. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. But she did send me just a couple of things. Can I read this?
You better believe it.
Thank you so
If
much.
she
I
sent it,
appreciate
you better read it.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of trouble, especially if this is televised. She says, "You know my story, but don't be afraid to tell it." Sorry. Here are a few things. I was diagnosed at age 46 with stage 4 colon cancer. I didn't know anyone who had the disease and wasn't even old enough to be screened for it at the time. Since then, I have advocated to have the screening age reduced to 45, to close a devastating Medicare loophole, and for increasing research and funding. And she goes to Washington, D.C. every year. The trend is scary. More being diagnosed, more dying. It is now the #1 cause of cancer-related deaths in those under age 50. She had a 5% chance of making it 5 years from the diagnosis. And bless her heart, she's still here. We can't stop this through, we can stop this through education screening at the age of 45 or sooner. As part of the Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month, tomorrow, Friday, is Dress in Blue. I got my hat. Dress in Blue Day to raise awareness for the disease. Thank you to Mayor Joe Pitts and the City of Clarksville for recognizing the importance of raising awareness. We will continue to fight.
Take your time. You got plenty of time.
Because no more Clarksvillians have to die needlessly. Because this can be prevented. And then she says, I need to be at 106 Public Square.
Sorry. Do not apologize. We will vouch for you. You were here, and we're going to take a picture to prove it. All right.
Can we wait just one?
Sure.
Thank you very much.
Next item on our agenda is the Planning Commission public hearing and adoption of zoning. Councilman Streetman, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. Madam Clerk, will you read the ordinances and resolutions before us tonight?
Ordinance 39, 2025-26, first reading. An ordinance amending the zoning code and map of the city of Clarksville, application of Kevin Huh for a zone change on two properties located on the east frontage of College Street, east of the College Street and Craft Street intersection, from M1 Light Industrial District to C5 Highway Arterial Commercial District. Ordinance 47, 2025-26, first reading. An ordinance amending the zoning code and map of the city of Clarksville, application of Tommy and Reese Byard for a zone change on property located at 1911 Old Russellville Pike from R1 Single Family Residential District to R2A Single Family Residential District. Ordinance 54, 2025-26, first reading. An ordinance amending the zoning code and map of the city of Clarksville, application of Mark and Catherine Barton for a zone change on three parcels located north of the intersection of Wilcox Street and Marion Street from R4 Multiple Family Residential District to CBD Central Business District. Ordinance 57, 2025-26, first reading. An ordinance amending the zoning code and map of the city of Clarksville, application of John Mark Holloman for a zone change on property located at 2610 Ashland City Road from R1 Single Family Residential District to R5 Residential District. Ordinance 59, 2025-26, first reading. An ordinance amending the zoning code and map of the city of Clarksville, application of Terrence Burney for a zone change on property located at 2075 North Ford Street from N2 General Industrial District to R2A Single Family Residential District. Ordinance 60, 2025-26, first reading. An ordinance amending the zoning code and map of the city of Clarksville, application of Ligon Home Builders for a zone change on property located at 1640 Evans Road from R2D, Two Family Residential District, to R1, Single Family Residential District. Ordinance 62, 2025-26, first reading. An ordinance amending the zoning code and map of the city of Clarksville, application of Chris Blackwell for a zone change on property located at 3341 and 3351 Pembroke Road from R1 Single Family Residential District to R5 Single Family Residential District. Ordinance 56, 2025-26, an ordinance amending the zoning code and map of the city of Clarksville, application of Bryce Powers for a zone change on property located at 1018 Swift Drive from O1 Office District to R2A Single Family Residential District. Ordinance 63, 2025-26, first reading. An ordinance amending the zoning code and map of the city of Clarksville, application of Richard Collins for a zone change on property fronting north of Dover Road, US 79, east of Paula Drive and west of Aurelia Lynn Drive, from C2 General Commercial District to C5 Highway and Arterial Commercial District. Resolution 43, 2025-26, a resolution annexing parcels north of Highway 76 and east of Hornbuckle Road and west of Little Hope Road. And Resolution 44, 2025-26, a resolution adopting a plan of service for parcels north of Highway 76 and east of Hornbuckle Road and west of Little Hope Road.
Councilman Streetman.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Madam Clerk. Mayor, I move we go into public hearing.
Motion been made and properly seconded to revert to public hearing. We are now in public hearing without objection. First item in our public hearing list is item A, ordinance 39, 2025-26, an ordinance amending the zoning code and map of the city of Clarksville, application of Kevin Huh. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak in favor of ordinance 39? Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak against ordinance 39? All right, we're on item B, ordinance 47, 2025-26, an ordinance amending the zoning code and map of the city of Clarksville, application of Tommy and Reese Byard. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak in favor of ordinance 47? Mr. Riccone, give us your name and you have 5 minutes.
Larry Riccone, 308 South 2nd Street. We're here today. I watched the informal session and how it was presented, and the presentation from Mr. Tyndall, which I thought presented it excellent. Talked about the zoning and it being the perfect zoning and the buffer, which I'm going to touch on. And then we heard from Director of Street Department, Mr. Smith. He talked about this hydrology report and talked about how his office worked with with the developer's engineer to get he praised it, that it was done to such a degree in such a manner. But let's just start back from the beginning. Like, why are we here? This is an opportunity to show that the system works. I hope you watched the RPC. If you did, you saw the two property owners who are here. If you want to ask them any questions, you have Miss Haywood. I know we only have two people. You ask Miss Haywood or Mr. Byard about growing up on the property. She talked about this was the family farm. She talked about being there first. She was there before the neighborhood to the north, before the R4 to the south, and they sat there with their little R1 and held on to the family farm. It was a horse farm. Some kids burned the horse farm down. Then sadly they lost their parents, and they don't live there anymore. And when you look at a big picture, when you look at this land from an overview, everything's developed except this perfect little rectangle. And if you look at it, there's a stub to the north, and it comes out on Old Russellville Pike. Makes sense to be developed. I'll submit it's always should be developed because of the stub road. But she tells stories about that. And now they don't live there, and they want someone else to enjoy this land. And they want to sell this land. And why is this the opportunity to do something right and that the system works? Because now they need to sell the land. Mr. Blackwell submitted an application to rezone it. That application immediately identified from the neighbors that there is a significant water issue. Everything paused. Mr. Blackwell, the developer, at his cost and expense, went to his engineer and had that hydrology report, what I just referenced, done. That was expensive, well received, and it pointed out and identified some hydrological, I think that's right, issues. So at that point, the application was changed to a less dense application, and that would allow some detention in the rear. The less dense, we went up only 14. So as it sits, and this is what's intriguing to me when y'all look at this, it's R1 right now. It stubs to the north. You can put 35 lots in there right now as it sits. But why is this doing the right thing? Because when you get the hydrology report, and y'all have pictures in this, Mr. Blackwell's going to speak to these. If you do it right, and we know water, if you do it right, and you've got to do it right, you've got to expend more money. And so the developer has to spend more money. We're asking a small increase up to an R2A, which is a plus 14-ish lots, which is not many. That's not a significant impact or increase. But in doing that, Right now, we're estimating at least $209,000 additional dollars to fix the drainage. That's at the developer, Mr. Blackwell's expense. That is at no cost to this city, it's at no cost to the taxpayers, it's at no cost to the property to the north or to the south. I'll submit this is the system working because a problem gets fixed, and it gets fixed at the developer's dime. And that's what we all want, somebody else to fix the problems. So we believe it's the appropriate zone. We believe this is what should occur. If this doesn't get rezoned, I don't think they can sell this. I don't know who wants to buy this, because if you're a developer and you buy this and it doesn't work, you've bought a bigger problem. You're going to move on down the line, and this is going to sit there vacant, and somebody's going to have to fix it. And it won't be a developer then, because now everybody knows that this is a problem, and you've got the person sitting here who will fix it with their money. I have a lot more to do, and my time is tight. I talked with David Smith. He told me I could tell y'all, we spoke today. He sees no issue with traffic. We have 2 exits, and there's multiple exits. Once you go up to the north, he's a bunch of ways out. He says, you can tell them you spoke to me, and I have no issues with it. He has no issues with the water. He says he's looked at the hydrology report. It's R2A is the appropriate zone. Minimum increase, only 14 more. Mr. Tyndall, I'm running out of time, talked about the step down. You have R1 and you have R4. This is the perfect mix. This is the thing. And I listened to Mr. Holloman speak, and I like Mr. Holloman, of course, but you're not going to put R1 next to the R4 now. This is the perfect buffer. R4, R2A.
Thank you, Mr. Riccone. Time is up. Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you, please do not comment out loud. Hang on, Mr. Riccone, we got questions. Hang on. Ladies and gentlemen, please refrain from any outbursts during the council meeting. Councilman Streetman, you have a question or a comment for Mr. Riccone?
Question. Mr. Riccone, you mentioned the hydrology report. It's not something, I mean, we hear often at this level, nor do we often hear it at the RPC. Was that required for y'all to do? Were you asked to do that, or was that something that you all chose to do yourselves in order to try to come up with the best solution for the land?
The latter. They're not something y'all hear very often. They don't occur all the time. There is some work involved, and I think, you know, and I mean, I'm representing my client today, but these homeowners, man, it gets the property owners, it gets to my heart. That's the right way to do it. I mean, in today's world, if you're going to develop it and it's not going to work, you don't want to touch it. And a hydrology report is the right way to do it. We want Clarksville to grow. We want it to have smart growth. We want it to be managed properly. And it's an expense, and it's a pain, and it's not fun, but that was the right way to do it. And that, to me, shows that's why we're trying to do it the right way. It's going to the nth degree to address the issues and concerns. And you're talking about being watched. Once it's developed, there's oversight the entire way now.
Well, another question I had, because I know y'all only have limited number of speakers, so I'm sure Mr. Black will be the other one, as you mentioned. But one thing that the homeowner, the property owner addressed in the RPC meeting, and I just wanted to verify that, was that prior to development being completed around their land, they weren't taking on near the amount of water that they take now. Am I correct in my understanding of that statement?
Yes, ma'am. She spoke to that when she addressed, and that's why, you know, I know it's great that you can watch this and it's recorded. You know, they were there first, and they spoke, and I've spoken to her, and they can say this directly. There was never any water issue, and as the developments incurred around them and encroached on them, that's when the water issue began. And they have just been dealing with it. And there's a story to where there's a pipe that's in there. This land drains to the rear, to the railroad track. There's a pipe in there that is clogged. And they tell a story to where before it was developed, there was never any water, and they would bush hog the whole rear. And then after developments came and this pipe was put in, at one point it became clogged, and that's when all this happened. And they would go unclog it at its own cost and expense, and it would flow. So clearly there's an issue. I think there's an issue at the pipe at the railroad track. It needs to be cleaned out. It's clogged right now. Those pictures are going to show you that it's clogged right now. But it's just fixable. And we found that out by this hydrology report. I mean, I'm not gonna tell you it wants to be done every time, but you talking about getting your money's worth. This actually identified a problem that addresses all these homeowners, that addresses all the R4 around there, and is going to give a solution that fixes the problem.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Councilman Shekinah, you recognize.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Mr. Riccone, you mentioned something about the water retention, and that was my question. I've looked at the property a couple of times. I've driven through the adjacent neighborhood as well as from the apartment side, and I know that pond back there does retain water. When you're talking about water retention, and you're talking about retaining all of this water on site, are we looking at a front retention and a back retention? Because you go up and then you go kind of level off, and then it goes back down to where the pond is. And yes, that pond is man-made, but it still could be a retention, so.
No, sir, the retention will be in the rear. I know there's gonna be a pipe installed in the front. I know in the earlier meetings, in the first meeting, again, when y'all speak, we listen. And there was a question about the water may have crossed the road once.
Yes.
That front pipe will address that. In this property, through the hydrology report and through the engineering that's going to be done, is going to push the water to the rear of the property to be retained in a rear detention area. And then it would be released according to guidelines after that. But we're not gonna push toward Old Russellville Pike. It's gonna go to the rear.
So in theory, right, and I'm gonna say in theory because we don't know what's really gonna happen until it's done, right, whether it's gonna work or not. But there's flooding right now, right, sometimes on Old Russellville. This will fix that problem because you're saying it's pushing everything to the back.
I can tell you that through the development plan, that this land should not cause any flooding over Old Russellville Pike or to any other neighborhood because it has to adhere to the retention and the stormwater pollution maintenance program. I mean, it's very highly regulated, and especially with the hydrology report, there is a roadmap on what has to happen. The RPC is well aware of that. I think Mr. Tyndall spoke to that. You're gonna have to have plan approval, site plan approval.
Right.
It's going to be addressed. Now, I think the pipe back to the railroad track needs to get fixed too. And I know Mr. Blackwell is gonna speak to that. Said he's gonna be happy to assist the city if they need it while this is going on to help address that too. But, if you fix it for one, you can really fix it for all. It's the plan.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mayor. I'll save my other questions for Mr. Blackwell.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Riccone. Just
Thank you,
as a
Mayor.
reminder, city code allows for 2 people to speak for, 2 people to speak against rezoning request, and then we'll get into rebuttal and rebuttal after that. So is there anyone else in the audience that wishes to speak in favor of Ordinance 47? Mr. Blackwell, give us your name, and you have 5 minutes.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor. I'm not as good speaker as Mr. Riccone, but I'll do my best. So, let's dig in. Can we look into this book real quick? I was on site yesterday with Mr. Byard, the owner, for 4 hours, to figure out what's going on, and I found it. And so the first picture is a 3-foot piece of PVC pipe. I found the pipe that goes up under the railroad track. Meaning, when this dammed up before, Mr. Byard went down there and took a tire with a cable and pulled through this pipe, and every bit of that water left that detention basin. Every bit of it. So I went to go find out why the water was sitting in that basin. So there is 3 foot of water standing. That pipe is sitting on the bottom of that pipe. There's 3 foot of water sitting right here, not leaving that pipe. So the next page is the manhole on the other side of the railroad tracks. If you look about in the center of it, that white, that is the pipe going inside the manhole from the other side of the railroad tracks. And then the next page, you'll see my snake in there as well. In the center, that's what's supposed to exit that manhole. All that water, when he drained that, left. There's a problem right here. It stopped up. I'm willing to help assist the city. Find where it stopped up and help them fix it. What that entails, I don't know, but I do know it's stopped up right now. They have a perfectly drained ditch going straight to this spot. We're blowing this drainage out of a proportion, what I've learned this week. I've spent all week here with these people and trying to find it. I found it yesterday. If this pipe gets maintained, the city of Clarksville, I learned they did put this pipe in. they know it's there now, so it's part of them working with me to help get it fixed. So I'm open for any questions. I guess I could keep speaking a little bit, but sorry. So, you know, it was an honor for the Byards and Miss Haywood to ask me to be a part of this. So doing my study before I said I do, the hydraulic, what Stacy asked, that was something I recommended with the engineer to do on my own dime. Nobody else asked me to do that. I want that to be clear, to take a step above and beyond of what I'm supposed to do there. So it was an honor for them to ask me and put my name on the line. If I didn't think I could fix this, why would I go build houses there and have a problem of flooding under houses? I'm 100% confident I've got this figured out with the engineers, and we're adding a pipe to the front. There's no detention basin by the road. That was a one-time over the road. Back in 2010, they witnessed it. It did not go over the road then. So anyway, I'm open for questions.
Thank you, Mr. Blackwell. Councilman Shekinah, you have your recognized.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Chris, Mr. Blackwell, that was going to be my question. You just mentioned, again, like I asked Mr. Riccone, the water going towards Russellville Pike. All water will go back, right? No water will go towards Old Russellville Pike.
That is correct. That ditch will be defined even more to that pipe and that extra pipe we're putting in.
Okay.
There'll be 2 pipes there now.
Now, you mentioned the tracks, right? You mentioned the pipe that goes over under the tracks,
Yes, sir.
rather. So this water is going to be flowing that direction, right? So that's like an overflow, that pipe, right?
No, sir, it's not overflow.
Okay,
No, sir.
So-
There should be no water behind their property.
okay. I'm talking about the railroad tracks, this pipe that goes underneath the railroad tracks, right?
That-
Because I didn't walk the railroad tracks, so I didn't see that pipe, right? But that would be my next question. Where is this water going?
It goes all the way down under Dunbar Cave Road,
Okay,
and it goes to that big ditch that goes to the Red River. I walked every bit of that yesterday with Mr. Byard.
okay.
And once that's unplugged, there won't be no water sitting behind there. There will be no chance of it flooding the neighbors. None.
Okay, and I'm gonna walk that this weekend, because I need to see it too.
I go with you.
Okay, cool, so we'll do that this weekend, 'cause I need to see it, because that's Ward 11, so I need to make sure. That's all I have, thank you,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chris.
Councilman Streetman, you're recognized.
Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and clarify with the mention of the snake. I won't be walking with you guys back there, so.
I don't like them
And I
either.
appreciate you bringing pictures and not a snake. I have a question in regards to, Mr. Riccone mentioned how the property owners used to bush hog in the back.
Yes.
I know I had somebody talk to me today, their concern was that there's a lot of, growth back there
It
that's
is.
causing some of these issues. How will that part, as far as the need for bush hogging, how will that be resolved with this?
So every bit of that detention in the back water won't sit there. It will always leave and go under that pipe once that blockage is fixed. It will
Okay.
never be there. So when he pulled a tire through that 60 foot of pipe, mud and stuff come out, and every bit of water left that. And then he started bush hogging it. They've gotten older. They can't go clean that pipe out anymore.
Okay, well, and then I appreciate that you've given us all this information, here in a little bit. When I get ready to vote, I'll decide for sure which way
Sure.
to go on it. I'm very grateful, though, that you've worked through this. I do understand both what you said, as well as Mr. Riccone, as well as I talked to Mr. Smith today myself
Sure.
in regard to this. But one question I do have, because you're standing up here, you're giving your word that this is
That's right.
going to work. Is this the last case you ever plan on bringing before us?
It is not, and I don't think I've ever stood up here and y'all have had to ask me why I didn't do what I was told
Well,
that I said I was gonna do.
then that was where I was going with
Mm-hmm.
it, because, I mean, you know well that you'll have to come back up here.
That's
And
correct.
I can speak, not only myself as sitting on the Regional Planning Commission, but there are quite a few council members that now attend the Regional Planning Commission, and they are not afraid to get up and speak against a site or a subdivision plan. So
That's right.
I know without a doubt, should this go through, there'll be quite a few eyes watching on it. And I don't mean that in any kind of
No,
negative fashion
totally fine.
at all.
We feel so good, we feel great about it. We're 100%, we're ready to go.
All right. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
He'll be back later in this public hearing. Councilman Lovato, you're recognized.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Blackwell, I just want to say that I am grateful that, that you brought this to us, that you had the foresight to do the hydrology report. I feel like in the last 12 months, this governing body has been hyper-focused on flooding and drainage issues, and I just really appreciate you listening. But along the lines of the previous speaker, what you're presenting is great, and I believe that you're going to do it. However, if this should pass, our authority ends. We can't hold you accountable to keep your promise. So if you don't do this, and then we see flooding in houses, who do the neighbors hold accountable? Who do they hold liable for this?
Good question. We're going to do everything we say we're going to do. I don't think y'all have ever had to question that with me. But so that pipe that's under that railroad, that is a city pipe. The city put it in, so the city's going to maintain it. But like I said, I will work with them and help them find the breakage in it to get that water back flowing. It's just going to have to be something, like, these people, they shouldn't be getting punished for the water that's gotten pushed to them. But the city fixed it with the pipe. When they developed Mr. Tucker, that's when that pipe went in. I know some of the guys that were there watched it get put in. So it's there for a reason. It's just got to be maintained.
So if the neighbors experience flooding after you develop this land, are you going to accept liability for their flooding?
I can't accept flooding for the city's pipe. But like I said, I will get the pipe up to standard, because the pipe's not on this property. But all this water that comes from their property goes to this pipe.
But if you don't hold your promise and they experience flooding, should you be held liable for their flooding if you don't hold your promise to helping the city?
If we do everything and pass every inspection from the city all the way through, and I help the city with my money fix that pipe that is damaged and blocked somewhere, they have cameras to find it.
Okay.
Once that's on the city to keep that pipe maintained,
Okay.
because it's on a different piece of property.
Right.
I'm not allowed to go on another piece of property and maintain the city's pipe.
Okay. All right. Thank you. That's all I have.
Councilman Clounce, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. Sir, we've spoken several times. I was at the RPC. How many hours have you personally invested in Plan Alpha, Plan Bravo, Plan Charlie? Where are we at with number of personal hours that you have committed to this would be my first question.
So we have two cases tonight. I've spent maybe 10 minutes on the other one, if that makes sense. So all my hours this week, I'm exhausted. I probably spent, I know every day this week, and days meeting, I met with the adjoining homeowners Sunday afternoon after church for a couple hours to address their concerns. So it's been a lot, but it's been
60 hours, 70 hours?
60, 70 hours.
And if you're doing that, are you making money doing your day job?
I am not.
And this is iteration, where are we at? I mean, I know there was a plan at the RPC, you've since adjusted. Like if you, again, I'm using Alpha Bravo Charlie, but what plan are we on now that you have tweaked?
My goal through this whole process was learning what the problem was and why. And yesterday afternoon, I met, 12 o'clock, met Tommy. We went back there, he showed me where the pipe, I found it. In that picture, them black spot is my waders, chest waders, where I got off in there and found that pipe. So I took it to the level to bulletproof this of what the problem is. And I found it.
You yourself stood in that water
100%. That's, I have witnesses,
with,
yes.
with the landowner?
Yes, sir.
to figure
He's
out-
wore out right now.
Okay. So we got 60 hours. Still, what iteration are we on? Because I know it's changed slightly.
I had people calling me at 9 p.m. most nights talking about this. It didn't stop.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Blackwell.
Thank you.
Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak against ordinance 47? All right, please come forward, give us your name, and you'll have 5 minutes, please, sir.
My name is Mark Remini. I live at 266 Cheshire since 2001. I'm speaking with you today to request disapproval of the rezoning of 1911 Old Russellville Pike from R1 to R2A. Some of the community concerns, as one knows, is the ongoing flooding. You've seen pictures from Jim Knoll. The current situation we're experiencing, it's so bad that it blocks Old Russellville Pike for 3 to 5 days. The flooded back of the property where it encroaches the existing residential property. I moved in 2001 and had to install 2 sump pumps underneath my house. This has been flooding since 2001. At the Regional Planning Commission meeting on 2 occasions, the developer stated the only way to fix these issues were to develop the land. And I'd like to speak to the residents of Farmington and Woodstock and see what their opinion is. Installing a larger pipe to flow underwater or dig back the pond deeper, this will only bring more water to the Cheshire neighborhood. The second issue I have is current traffic. The poorly designed Dunbar Cave and Old Russellville Pike can barely manage the current volume of traffic. Subdivisions in the area are also an issue. There's narrow areas on Old Russellville Pike that doesn't have shoulders or sidewalks. Example, intersection of Rossview Road where the Methodist Church and the Women's Club is. There's no way you could widen that road without either purchasing property or using some type of, eminent domain. You have, after the St. Bethlehem Early Learning Center, you have apartments on both sides, and their parking lots are right there on the side of the road. And I just don't know what another approximately 100 cars will do to Old Russellville Pike. The current school system designates the Rossview school system for this area. And from the report filed with the Regional Planning Commission, Rossview Elementary is at 120% with 13 trailers on ground. The middle school is just behind it with 5 trailers, and the high school is not too far behind that. And this doesn't account for the subdivisions that are already going in on Rossview Road and Dunbar Cave where they reconfigured it. Finally, I understand the concept of infill development. I also understand overdevelopment. I say leave it as an E1, build the allotted structures, thus leaving green space for rain absorption. That way all sides can walk away from this with something they want. And my final statement is, why are we letting the profits of the few impact the lives of the many? How many people are here over this subdivision? This is the many. Thank you for your consideration. Anybody have any questions for me?
If you will, tell me your last name again.
Remini.
Remini.
Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you, Mr. Remini. Councilman Smith, you have a question.
Thank you, Mayor.
Mr. Remini, hang on, right here,
Yes, sir.
right here, Mr. Remini, right here.
Yes.
Thank you for giving us your information about your concerns in that area. How close is this property to you?
From the apex where it turns,
If you don't mind, get to the microphone.
I'm about 5 houses down from where the apex is, and my house still floods, and it's been flooding since 2001, regardless of pipes being cleared out with tires and everything else.
Did you hear him when he said that the pipe was clogged up and that's why they wanted to, they said it would work if they get it unclogged and it wouldn't flood in your area?
And I also heard him say they've been doing this for years, but they're just now too old, and I can tell you that my house has been flooding since 2001.
Have you contacted the city about that?
No.
Okay.
I've got pictures on my phone. I can show you where my in-ground pool looks like the Cumberland River because it all washes in.
I believe you. So you've been paying to get this taken care of yourself?
Yes.
When it flooded?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilman Chandler, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. Do you and the other residents realize that if we vote no on this, you still got the same flooding issues?
Sir, I really don't mean to be disrespectful, but I'm not looking for a magic wand to come in and fix this. I'm just trying to keep it from becoming worse.
That's not my question. My question is, do you realize that if we vote no and it stays just like it is, you will have the exact same flooding problems Do you and the other residents realize that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Councilman Clontz, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. Sir, I appreciate your passion. A lot of us have the same passion, and we've toyed with this. I respect that very much so. And
Thank you.
again, I would offer what Councilman Chandler said. What is the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and expecting a different result. Right?
Yes.
You have a builder that is offering to take care of something that is really not his problem to take care of. And we all would just like that everybody consider that, right? My house flooded, and it shouldn't flood, and I don't live anywhere over there. And to Councilman Smith's point, like 2001, long time ago, you took care of it on your own. Why didn't you come here circa 2002 and complain about this issue then, before now they want to sell land that is family land that they've owned to create more housing in a city where we need more housing?
I've come here each time they've tried to rezone it. The last time, I want to say, was 2006 to a PUD to speak out against this. So I have.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Remini.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else in the audience that wishes to speak against ordinance 47? Mr. Knoll, if you give us your name, you have 5 minutes.
Jim Knoll, I live at 276 Cheshire Road, and I know this issue about the flooding is beat to death. We've resurrected the horse, we killed it again, we resurrected it, killed it again, but you're still gonna hear more of it. This has been a problem for 20 years, and I fully understand the concept of somebody else fixing it. But the thing is, it shouldn't have taken this long and somebody else to fix it. If there's a city problem there, then it should be fixed. This hydrology report we talk about, there's no doubt in my mind that these engineers are very competent. I have no idea who they are. But you know, these subdivisions, like 7 of them, we always talk about Farmington, we always talk about them. But there's several other subdivisions that have flooded that some engineer signed off on saying it was going to drain correctly. And you know what? Now the city is buying some of those properties because they can't get it fixed. So, you know, we don't want to end up in that same boat. So now I'm off that bandwagon, I'll move on. We know these issues have been here since the 90s. At one point, the flooding was so severe, it actually went over the railroad tracks. And that's when they actually decided to put in the 24-inch pipe in that residence. And we also, something before I even forget, is, you know, we said that the flooding across Old Russellville last time was 2010. February 14th, 2025 was the last time that flooded across that property. So it is very recent. And once again, if this hydrology fixed it all, that's all well and good. But let's go with the other thing that's going to happen. We're talking about putting 48, 49 properties on 7 acres of land. Street Department says there is no impact. Well, I can appreciate that, but all these other subdivisions, because I can't get anybody to show me any sort of traffic study or survey that has been done anytime recently. A level 1 traffic survey can be done essentially to see, and it's a very abbreviated one. But if you look at the tick mark it takes to get a traffic survey done, it takes for an R2A property, it would have to be 42 acres or 1,000 trips a day. So how about all these new subdivisions have been built all along Old Russellville Pike? You can go down there up and down. No traffic survey's ever been done. Our property or along Old Russellville Pike, because nobody wants to go through the chaos of Wilma Rudolph anymore, so what do they take? Old Russellville Pike. Once again, this is not the contractor's issue, but this is stuff that needs to be addressed. If you're going to put 48, 49 more properties, there needs to be some sort of survey done saying what should happen. Same thing with the flooding. I don't think the question that Council Lovato, I don't think the question she asked never really got answered. Personally, sitting back there listening, is 3 years after the contractor's done, they're no longer liable for stuff. Well, once again, it falls back on us. So, that being said, the proposed development would also require 2 access points, which will route more traffic through the surrounding residential neighborhoods, introducing cut-through traffic, reduce safety, disrupt the quiet, low-density neighborhood. We did have a meeting with the contractor, and we had hoped to get questions answered. But we got the word irrelevant thrown at us more than one time. We never really did get answers. When we walked out of that meeting with him, we had no warm fuzzies about what was going to happen. And once again, with the hydrology survey, all these other properties that somebody signed off on because saying everything would drain correctly, then it really didn't work for them either. To me and my neighbors back here, this requested rezoning is a poster child for failure. There are many tick marks which mirror the several subdivisions which have recently experienced flooding. This property has had drainage flooding issues since the 90s and was previously used as farmland. Traffic was expressed as a concern 20 years ago, and Clarksville has grown by almost 70,000 residents with many subdivisions built along Old Russellville Pike, Cave Road, and Dunbar Cave Road, with very few road modifications to accommodate these builds. We ask that you don't make another example of a failed infrastructure. This is not a case of responsible, orderly growth. It's a request that benefits one property while shifting costs and consequences on surrounding neighborhoods. The residents, many living in the subdivision for over 20 years, relied on the existing R1 zoning when purchasing their homes, and that reliance deserves consideration. We respectfully ask you to deny the rezoning of 1911 Old Russellville Pike from R1 to R2A. We've presented our concerns and desires as homeowners, and the decision is in your hands. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Knoll. Councilman Streetman.
Thank you, Mayor.
Ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, Councilman Streetman.
Thank you, Mayor. I was going to wait and mention this in the part where we're discussing it in a bit, but since both you and the speaker beforehand talked about the traffic on Old Russellville, and the previous speaker also specifically referenced the intersection with Dunbar Cave, I can tell you that that's something that I've been talking with the street department about, is that intersection right there. Talking to him prior to this zoning case even coming forward, knowing that as one of the people that lives over there said, and I can agree with this statement, that taking a left turn there is like playing a game of chicken. It can be, very difficult to make a turn no matter which of the two roads you're on or which direction you're coming from. So that is something that I've already had that conversation with, and looking to possibly get a four-way stop in there. I know it's not a traffic light, and that is in the Transportation 2020 Plus plan, but four-way stop is something that we can move on much more quickly and could very well serve as a way to help that traffic flow much better, just as we've done downtown many years ago, and taking out all the stoplights that were downtown and converting them into four-way stops. So hopefully that's something, regardless of what happens tonight or going forward with this development, that we can get done to be able to help the situation out there.
Can I respond back? I don't know if I got to shut up now or if I can respond back to her.
Yes, respond, please.
Okay, thank you. Here's the thing is, yeah, that'll be great there at Old Russellville, mate, but four-way stop, I mean, that traffic, they're backed up 10 deep already. So you put a stop sign there, that's, not going to really make it any better. Plus, who pays attention to stop signs? Plus, Cave Road, not fair. Cave Road is another road that you can't get out on. There's so many roads along that highway you cannot get out on. Matter of fact, even a lot of people that live in our subdivision, they'll go down Old Russellville and take another way instead of trying to go out, because you'll sit there sometimes 5-10 minutes. It's not unusual. So, I mean, some sort of traffic study or survey needs to be done in that area.
Well, just to be clear, I would imagine the traffic backs up 5-10 cars deep because they can't get out, correct?
That's a big part of it, or get across.
Which
yes.
is where a four-way stop would assist in moving that traffic.
I want to believe you, but I know a lot about traffic, and people got to pay attention first.
I think that's the case.
And it would back them up from Dunbar Cave Road, too, from Wilma Rudolph, which is one of the top 10 crash intersections in Clarksville.
Okay, thank
That's
you.
a good idea.
Councilman Smith, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Knoll,
Yes,
thank you
ma'am.
for coming forth and standing up for your community. I hear your pain. You said that you didn't get any questions answered from the people that y'all had the meeting with.
Not really, ma'am.
Okay, so what would you like for them to do to ensure that it would not flood again if they decide to build? What would you like to hear?
Well, ma'am, I'm first one to say I'm not an engineer. So people smarter than me have to figure that out. But, the thing is, when you start talking about pushing this water back to the back of the property, and the thing is, the watershed does not end there. This watershed actually collects from Old Trenton Road out to Whitfield Road. So the watershed, we're at the bottom of the watershed at Old Russellville Pike. Whitfield in that proximity, not exactly, I couldn't give you the exact place, but, I've talked to an engineer also that used to work with this stuff. And so, that's got to be considered too. And once again, stop the pain, because I'm one of the properties that it comes up like almost to my shed. And then one of my neighbors, it's like up in the middle of his property.
Okay, well, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Knoll.
Thank you, sir.
Our city code allows for rebuttal. If you're in favor of ordinance 47 and wish to offer rebuttal, we can have one person speak. You have 3 minutes. Mr. Riccone, give us your name, please.
Larry Riccone, and everything's falling. I got to keep my time straight. Thank you. I was actually going to address that. When a person says it's been flooding since 2001 and the land has been the same, we're giving you a solution. And what we presented is a solution, and it's the solution that's needed. And one thing I want to address what was said, I have my notes here. You have a great question, and I'm an attorney, so they get.
Mr. Riccone, get in front of the microphone.
Sorry.
Thank you.
The liability, and you hear that name, and you hear that word, and you get nervous. But so we're tracking. The hydrology study was done, and it identified multiple issues. The site plan, the developer has to capture and maintain the water on theirs. What we're talking about is we can easily do that. We've identified the extra problem that these people are experiencing now is this pipe that is not on the property being purchased. I think maybe that was lost somewhere in here. That pipe that's clogged is not on the land that's going to be purchased. And I keep calling this wrong name. But Chris is going to work with the city to help fix that. But when you talk about developing this piece of land, we're going to adhere to all the criteria. And we have hydrology studies that we know we can adhere to that. And to the neighbors, I get that there's a park behind you and nobody's developed it. But you look at it, it's a square. It's a perfect rectangle. And the neighborhood to the north has a stub street into this grassy knoll. It was supposed to be developed. It was always going to be developed. The city's laid it out. The RPC's talked about it. It's in the growth plan. It's in the master plan. You wouldn't have a stub street if it wasn't going to be used at some point. And we've given the city an opportunity to let these people sell their family farm, to let it be used and enjoyed by a whole nother set of families, to let these neighbors here have new friends and have new kids for their kids to play with, to fix a drainage problem on this land, but we've also have a solution now that fixes it for the adjacent properties, for things that this is not even pushing water to. So that's really important. I think that's the dichotomy here, and maybe that was missed a little bit in the way I presented it, and I apologize. But it can be fixed, and when it's fixed, there's actually, through all the extra work that was done, we've identified a secondary fix that will alleviate problems. And it is the appropriate step-down zone to go from R1 to R4, because most people aren't going to most people aren't going to develop an R1 that backs up to that R4 that's already there. You're going to want some kind of downgrade zone there. So we ask you to
Thank you,
approve.
Mr. Riccone. We have a question. Councilman Lovato, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Riccone, can you just remind me, under the current zoning, how many homes can be built on that property?
We're projecting the current zone was 35.
35. And if your rezoning gets approved, how many will go on there?
Plus 14.
So 49.
Yeah, 49. Actually, I think the RPC, Mr. Tyndall, testified, or submitted to y'all, not testified, 48. Our count was 49. So I'd love to say 48. We count 49. So 14 more.
So 14 additional homes
Right.
with rezoning. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Brown, you're recognized for Mr. Riccone.
Thank you. I don't know if you'd be able to answer this, but my question is going to be going from 35 lots to 49, you're still going to have that expense of building all this. So I don't know if you know, how much would that add to the price of each house that's being built out there to stay at 35 compared to the 49, or, making houses affordable kind of?
The best case scenario as it sits, which is developing the property pursuant to the plans and all the current code, is at least an additional $209,000 that a builder developer would not incur except for the water issue that we've identified. And that really doesn't even address, again, the secondary issue is the pipe that's not even on this property. So an additional 209. So if you say 14 houses, and I was doing that earlier today in my office, it's $10,000 to $15,000 per house. So what do? You either make a smaller house, and if you're in that neighborhood, you may not want a smaller house behind you, so property values go down, or you build a poor quality house. And Mr. Blackwell doesn't want to build a poor quality house because he's going to stand here and he'll hear it again. And it was a pretty, telling point is that, he's here and it comes back. And if you're in here developing a piece of property that's bad, why do it? Just go somewhere else.
Right. So it would add about $15,000 per house.
Well,
To the co-
209 divided by 14.
Right. I
can't do that one
either.
either.
All right, thank you.
Councilman Clont, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Sir, I assume that you're Mr. Blackwell's attorney.
Yes, sir.
How many cases in a subdivision have you had to represent for him in court of stuff wasn't done and there was an issue?
Zero.
I'm sorry?
Zero.
One more time?
Zero.
And then how many years has Mr. Blackwell been a builder in Clarksville, Tennessee?
I do not know that. I'd say over 20 years. He's younger than I am. I've been here 30.
And I don't mean to put you on the spot.
I'm old. It's okay.
No, I'm old too. And if you had to guess, how many houses has he built in that over 20 years? Over 10,000, over 15,000?
Oh, I would think over. Let's see, in Clarksville, a builder that is building a bunch can build about 200. That's in today's market. So, I couldn't venture a guess, 5,000, probably more than that. 5,000. I can cheat from the audience, 5,000 plus or minus.
So you've never had to represent him in court for an issue with a house or subdivision that he's built, and at the low end of swag numbers, 5,000.
I can unequivocally state to you that I've never represented Mr. Blackwell on any matter other than presenting to the RPC or to this body or to a governing body or something like that. Never defended him for a negligent construction case. Never. And I can tell you, without selling names, I do that work, and I have been involved for builders on construction cases.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Councilman Shekinah, you're recognized.
Yes, Mayor. I have a question for you, Mayor. I was going to wait until we go back into get out of public session, but it's referenced the flooding on Old Russellville Pike, the road itself, and then now with this new thing, with this pipe that runs under the railroad tracks, that's part of the city's stuff. So if this floods in the future, that's the city's problem, right?
Well, it is a city road. Old Russell Pike is obviously a city road. Now,
Yes.
the question I have, is it a city pipe because it's on railroad right-of-way?
Yes.
And I'm not going to get into that debate tonight because
right.
we're talking rezoning. But I'm not sure it's the city's pipe.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Markey, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. So I guess let's go the opposite way, because we spoke about the homes being either lesser quality. What about if they're more expensive? Being an attorney, I'm sure you've seen changes in like socioeconomic with regards to neighborhoods. What does expensive communities do next to older communities? Could you speak on that?
Can you ask me the last part I lost? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I said,
So-
what happens if a developer puts in an expensive community next to an older community in order to make up the cost? So because it goes two ways. It goes either cheaper material or goes really expensive houses.
Right, and so, we're involved in that, and we do a bunch of transactions. It's funny, you have a realtor in here who's gonna present a case on his own here in a little bit, and I tell people that everybody will call me and say, hey, what's this house worth? And I tell them, I don't really know because I only see a legal square. I never actually see the property. But I represent builders, I represent developers, and we work with them in conjunction. So to what you're saying, you know, if you have a neighborhood with $300,000 houses, and you say have a vacant piece of land, and you have R4, you, a rational developer isn't going to put $1 million houses in there because you're not going to want to have a $1 million house next to a $300,000 house next to a quadplex. So builders and developers look at the surrounding area and the surrounding, and you try to match to that level.
Okay, but again, in this case, if they build 35 homes, they have to tax on the additional increase from somewhere. So these homes have to cost something higher.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it'll be $1 million house, but I'm not sure what exactly the average is out there, but anything slightly higher than that, will that affect the neighborhood?
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to I'm trying to answer your question, but I'm not going to mislead you, and I don't want to take like a wild guess. You're going to have to look at it. It's an economic model, and that's why I said these poor people can't sell their farm now, because you can't go throw a house that costs more than the market in that area can bear to make up $209,000. I mean, the person buying a house isn't going to say, well, I'm sorry you spent that, and I'll pay you more to make up for it. So it has to work, and those houses are going to be commensurate to the houses in that area. That's kind of how you would price it. You're not going to be extraordinarily cheaper. You're not going to be extraordinarily higher. So comparable, but I mean, Mr. Blackwell would have
comparable.
Yeah, to the surrounding areas.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Riccone. If you are against Ordinance 47 and wish to offer sir rebuttal, we will allow one person to speak for 3 minutes. Okay, we're now ready for item C, Ordinance 54, 2025-26, an ordinance amending the zoning code and map of the city of Clarksville, application of Mark and Catherine Barton. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak in favor of Ordinance 54? Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak against Ordinance 54? Next item is item D, Ordinance 57, 2025-26. Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Oh, yes, ma'am, if you'll come up. Are you speaking for or against Ordinance 50? All right, no problem. We're now on item D, Ordinance 57, 2025-26, an ordinance amending the zoning code and map of the city of Clarksville, application of John Mark Holloman. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak in favor of Ordinance 57? John Mark Holloman, give us your name, and you have 5 minutes.
I'm Mark Holloman, and I'm just, it's a small tract that's part of a subdivision that didn't get rezoned when we rezoned the subdivision, so I'm just asking for it to be rezoned. Any questions?
Questions for Mr. Holloman?
It's adjoining the same zoning.
Mr. Holloman, you have a question?
Yes.
Mr. Holloman.
How many, refresh my memory, how many units was this going to add as far as like, it's going to be apartments, right?
No, it'll be townhouses.
It'll be townhouses. How many units?
I haven't designed it yet. It's just, it's about the 3-acre tract, and probably an acre and a half is usable because it slopes down. There's a gas pipeline going through it. So it has not been designed yet.
So if we approve this, I mean, we can expect a R5 rezone request just going all the way down the bypass. I mean, you look at all the developments over all the years, like we've destroyed Clarksville, like with all this overdevelopment. What do you think about that? Like, you think we've overdeveloped or?
No, I think it's they're looking for affordable housing. And so the planning commission's their desire is to use the land more wisely. And so this is designed to use it more wisely.
Yeah, and in exchange, we're sacrificing the soul of the city so we can have buildings everywhere and developments and destroy all the trees, and so we can build houses. But I know, like, I typically abstain on these, but I'm going to vote no on this one because I do feel like it's best for the ward. So thank you.
Any more questions for Mr. Holloman? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else in the audience wish to speak in favor of Ordinance 57? Anyone in the audience wish to speak against Ordinance 57? Item E, ordinance 59, 2025-26, an ordinance amending the zoning code and map of the city of Clarksville, application of Terrence Burney. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak in favor of ordinance 59? Please give us your name.
My name is Terrence Brandon. How you guys doing? I own that property. I'm gonna tear the house down, and I was just trying to get it rezoned to build two single-family homes.
Questions for Mr. Burney? Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Is there anyone else in the audience that wishes to speak in favor of ordinance 59? Anyone in the audience wish to speak against ordinance 59? Yes, ma'am, if you'll give us your name, and you have 5 minutes.
Joy Welker.
If you'll pull that microphone down.
Joy Welker. And this is my third year to oppose this change. There's another property that sits next to that one. We're not sure what's going to happen to that. It's a very small cul-de-sac road, and again, there's just no way for traffic to go, that much traffic to go in and out of there, much less onto New Providence Boulevard or anywhere in Clarksville for that matter. So, yeah.
Questions for Ms. Welker? Councilman Brown, you're recognized.
So you do realize this is zoned M2 currently, so somebody could come in and put a towing company in there. There would be a lot of traffic in and out of there, non-residential.
You couldn't put a towing company back there.
They,
You could, but
Yeah.
you can't. There's no way you could.
you know, they find places to put stuff.
Right, yeah.
But not just a towing company,
It's a
but
whole, I know the whole, that whole side of the rock quarry is zoned that. I live in the same zone. Lived there since, what, 1940, I believe? It's a family bought the whole cul-de-sac. One side of the family lived on one side, another side lived on the other. We all know each other. It's 2 or 3 houses in the back that we're not familiar with, and that's what we're talking about, are just those lots. We were under the impression that he was just gonna build a nice single-family home, and now I think it's 2 or 3 of the long, skinny houses that are everywhere around town. I would just like to be able to live on a normal street, with a normal amount of traffic without 30 more cars coming in and out of this road. And if you're familiar with that road, you would know exactly what I'm speaking about.
yeah, I've been down there, but right now, I'm just thinking a commercial business could go in there that could have a whole lot more traffic than what, a couple houses would have.
And that's what
which
I'm
would
afraid
be a
of on the
worse.
lot next to him as well.
Right.
I think that's what they're gonna do. So it's just gonna be a lot then if this one passes as well. And this will be the third year, 2 years it's voted no, I think unanimously. So this is the third time we're up here.
Right. I believe it was requested R4 the last time, which would have had more, there'd have been more doors than what this will allow. But, and that was turned down. But okay, thank you.
Councilman Smith for Ms. Welker.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Ms. Welker, for coming forth. You do realize that the house is old and dilapidated, and he just wants to kind of beautify, make it look better over there. And also thinking about that, as the previous councilman said, they could put some type of industrial type business over there, and you would not be able to sleep. It can bring in more noise. It could bring in more pollution. So you're in a residential area, and you in between two. Pollution, noise, no sleep. What would you rather have? A home to beautify, more neighbors, to have unity, better place to sleep, Yep. So, you gotta make a choice.
I'm all for
But I
a
think-
home,
Yeah,
not
you for a home, right?
3 or 4 homes.
But-
I don't understand why we're stacking homes anywhere they will fit. Why can't we have a normal neighborhood with a normal house?
But that would make it look like a normal neighborhood if you add more houses, ma'am. You see what I'm saying? Because
house.
would you like to see more pollution? Would you like to see more noise, no sleep?
I would like to see a house
a
that's
busy
kept
street.
up,
Yeah.
not a quadplex, 3 skinny houses, a quadplex that in 5 years from now looks like a dump. I would like to see a normal house that's kept up, that someone lives in, is proud of, and takes care of.
Yeah, I hear you. But that house is not kept up right now. It's really,
Mm-mm.
it's dilapidated. So he's just trying to beautify it, you know,
Mhm.
make it look more like a neighborhood.
And last year, he
Less
said he was just
pollution.
going to build a single house.
So I think, I thought he said he was just gonna remodel that house. And if he added another house, that would be helpful to the neighborhood, I think.
Yeah, one
Beautify it.
house would be fabulous.
Okay, all right. Okay, thank you.
Councilman Clont, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Again, ma'am, I appreciate you coming forward. I'm also respectfully kind of confused. I don't want a tow company next to me, and that is, or something that has a ton of traffic. So I guess maybe, what is the lesser of two evils,
Are you
right?
familiar, have you been on North Ford Street?
Yes, ma'am.
Down the cul-de-sac?
Yeah.
On the back of the rock quarry?
Yeah.
On the, I do not think that there would be, a tow truck company
Well,
built there.
respectfully, what you think and what it's zoned for use for, they don't align.
Well, if that happened, I can tell you now, I would sell my house to the plenty of realtors that call me on a weekly basis, and I would leave. That's what I would do.
Right, can I, respectfully, can I ask you what I was gonna ask you though? Would you rather have the unknown of a tow company, a junkyard, obviously there's not gonna be a junkyard, to homes that we have a shortage of in Clarksville? That's, I don't, that's my question.
I would rather have the unknown.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Any more questions from Ms. Welker? Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else in the audience wish to speak against Ordinance 59? We now have time for rebuttal for Ordinance 59. If you're in favor of Ordinance 59 and wish to offer rebuttal, we can allow one person to speak for 3 minutes. All right, we're now ready for item F, Ordinance 60, 2025-26, an ordinance amending the zoning code and map of the city of Clarksville, application of Ligon Home Builders. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak in favor of Ordinance 60? Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak against Ordinance 60? Next item, item G, Ordinance 62, 2025-26, an ordinance amending the zoning code and map of the city of Clarksville, application of Chris Blackwell. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak in favor of Ordinance 62?
Hopefully this is.
Mr. Riccone, give us your name and you have 5 minutes.
Larry Riccone. Hopefully this is a little easier. And, you know, when y'all speak, we listen. And I referenced that earlier. At the RPC, I talked about judges speak through orders, but y'all speak through what you say. And this body is very clear. We need more housing. I heard somebody boo back there when you said that, but we do need more housing. We need more affordable housing. And so we've submitted this plan. Mr. Blackwell submitted this plan. It came through the RPC with unanimous, staff approval and board approval. Y'all saw this before, and this came up, and it was voted past the first reading, and it failed the second reading. I know there were some issues with Buc-ee's being located nearby and with traffic for the Buc-ee's that was in Clarksville at that time, or proposed to be in Clarksville at that time. So we're resubmitting this today, and it fits, it ticks a box that we need, and it's exactly what we're looking for. It's going to be a self-contained development of smaller homes. And there's a bunch of key features to that I want to point out. And number one is what we just heard. And I respect what she's saying, but as people start infilling and putting tiny homes here and tiny homes there and a fourplex here and a threeplex there and a tall skinny, adjacent neighbors get upset. You're hurting my property value. So Mr. Blackwell has a self-contained development of all the same and similarly situated product. So everybody there will be similarly situated. We're not going to have, well, you put this house too close to mine and this is my neighborhood and now you're putting a smaller house in my neighborhood. This is set up to be rentals. This is set up to be your first standalone house. This gives you a place to walk in and call your own. There's not going to be dancing above you. You're not going to hear somebody watching TV loud across the wall from you. You're not going to have an apartment. It'll give you some pride of ownership or pride of occupying a home. You can rent that. We're projecting rent between $600 and $800, which is very entry level. And it gives you a place to go there, experience that and then move into a bigger, nicer home should you choose to. It's important too, when I looked at this overview, you know, it fits the surrounding area. Mr. Tyndall again addressed y'all and said this area is in it's in the right growth area, and it's projected to be mixed housing use is the appropriate use. And when you look around here across the street, we have M2, we have C2, we have E1, we have R1A. You're talking about a mix. And so this is a good little cluster to put in here. You're going to put similarly situated smaller homes. You're not going to be spreading them out all across different neighborhoods. Everybody knows what they're having. They're going to have a chance to rent a place and to kind of first experience having a house of their own. I know there's been some issues, and again, I did watch, and you know, there's issues with maybe Bucky's going in up in Kentucky, and you know, we do believe that this stands on its own merits now, and we'd ask that the impact, that this be approved. We don't believe there'd be much impact, and you know, it really addresses a box. And you know, Councilwoman Marquise asked me about housing, and I'll tell you, I don't really know what houses cost, and I don't. But I know they're expensive, and I know you can't get anything for $600 nowadays in Clarksville, or if you get it, you really probably might not want it that much. And so it gives you to have something new or something that fits that box and gives you somewhere to kind of start calling home. We ask that you approve this.
Councilman Zacharias, you're recognized.
And I had that's out for y'all. Sorry.
Thank you, Mayor. All right. So I recognize the need for affordable housing in Clarksville. And I think you know where I land on this, because you do watch the meetings, and we've had conversations. But reasonable people can disagree. But I think it's important that that we're disagreeing on the same set of facts. So I'm actually going to make an argument against my vote tonight, just in the interest of full disclosure. I recently had a meeting, and I learned that this development could solve an issue that our industrial park is having. We've got a lot of workers in that industrial park that live on this tiny town corridor and rely on tiny town to get to work down there at Exit 8. I do see this as a possible solution to that issue. I also am the parent of a young man who this would be perfect for, and we wouldn't have to move him far. You can see my house on this picture. Okay. But Pembroke Road is narrow. There is no shoulder. It's a drop off. We lost a child on that road across the state line because of the conditions of that road and how frequently it gets used, not only by people going to, I made a mistake last week and mentioned a business by name, but we'll call it a rodent-themed mega gas station. That's going to be at the end of this road, and that is going to put a lot of cars on that road. There's also a ton of traffic going to Fort Campbell in the morning to avoid the tiny town Fort Campbell Boulevard intersection. I'm sorry, I contributed to that traffic for several years, but I don't mind tiny homes. I mind tiny homes right here at this specific location. So for that, I'm going to be a no. But I can see why some people would be in favor of this. Thank you.
Councilman, I really do appreciate that. And, you know, there's probably some more industrial things going in out there that are going to need workers here soon. So we do think that would be a great place versus, y'all remember Hemlock going up and it turned into Google. People were renting RVs and people were staying in RV homes, and there's a lot of traffic out there. Had developers renting land to people out there. But again, you know, I respect this board and this committee, and I'll be the first to say that we're not going to always agree on everything, and we shouldn't always agree on everything. And I respect your opinion, and by having different views, we get to a better answer. I respectfully think it should go today, and respect your opinion on it, and you know, and certainly take that to heart.
Thank you. Councilman Shekinah, be recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Riccone, just for clarity, because we're talking about 2.92 acres roughly, right? And are we still looking at 35 units? How many units are we looking
I
at?
think the estimate was 47 was the estimate.
Yes.
And we have a drawing that we've submitted. You can kind of count those on there. And we're talking about putting behind the houses, maybe some playground or exercise equipment, so to have something to do. But it shows you the two different layouts. One's bigger than the other. That's why there's two different price points.
Thank you.
You know,
Thank you,
I'd
Mayor.
love to tell you 35, but right now we're showing 47.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Clontz, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. Sir, I appreciate the drawing to kind of show us what it's gonna look like. What you said, what did you say the price point was for rent?
Rent 600 to 800.
$600, $800, okay. I appreciate that as well with the location, proximity to Fort Campbell, Kentucky, and some of the other things that are gonna potentially be in that area. I think, and if I'm out of order in what I'm about to say, I will stop.
I got my gavel ready.
Just don't throw it.
I think this is the first step in the right direction of, I don't wanna live in this, respectfully. There are a whole lot of people that do, at a price point they can afford. And that excites me. It's not quite exactly where I think we need to go. I'm not the builder, but it is a step in a direction to fill a need in this city and within a proximity to a huge installation and some other industrial areas. And I think this is awesome.
Thank you. And I don't know if my marriage would survive me and my wife living there, so it's probably not the house for me, but it is the house for someone.
No. Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Councilman Smith, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Attorney Riccone. I talked to Mr. Blackwell about this, and I was not happy about the size of the home. Because I just think that when we start putting up little bitty little houses like this, we're setting it up for disaster. I say this because people can grow, people can move wherever they want to. But when you set up 47 units of small houses like that, I think you're gonna have a problem. I don't think it's gonna be peaceful. I know, because I live near something of this sort, but not small homes like that, but the area. And I think that if we're trying to help somebody, and we really want to help somebody, we're gonna build a bigger size house. And if you want to give them a price adjustment, I think it will work. But how big are these homes gonna be? What is the measurements? What is it? 700 square feet, 600?
They're 11 by 6, so just 700.
700. So it's $100, or how many rooms gonna be in it?
The layouts, you got bedrooms in the back.
So just one bedroom
On these, yes, ma'am.
and one bathroom?
There's a development like this in Dover or Paris. We actually represent the developer, and it's wildly successful. I have a client who put one, and she lives in it, and it is wildly successful. And to your point, I could envision that if you sell 47 of these, then you might lose control, and somebody, or might be somewhat bad. But these aren't going to be sold. That's kind of the beauty. That's why, I'm presenting this, that they're for rent. And so you get to control it, and you're not sprinkling them around in different neighborhoods and selling them, and here's a lower income house, so to speak, to move into. And if you're going to have a bad rental place, you're not going to rent any of them. So I would submit, I think it will self-police, and it will be policed that way. I don't think it will degrade into a bad area to live.
Well, what I was gonna ask, how, is it sitting next to some homes? How close is it to bigger homes?
M2 to the left across the street, I don't have my aerial, I'm going off memory. E1 is above it,
Oh, so it's mostly
C2 below it, R1A behind it.
Oh, okay.
Is that right?
Okay, yeah, that's good. Okay.
I can't do math. I can't do 29 by 14.
Okay.
1290 by 14.
All right, thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Conley.
Councilman Streetman, you're recognized.
Thank you. Mr. Oconee, you may or may not know the answer to this question, but what do you think is the average square footage of a apartment?
Ooh. The typical townhomes that's been that new threeplex, duplex, twoplex, threeplex, fourplex, sixplex now, those are 900 or maybe 800. They're not as big as you think. Now,
That's a townhome,
yeah, and those
not
are up.
an apartment.
Yeah, so an apartment you can be like 600. I mean, there's small apartments. I was in a 1,000 square foot house today, and and it was sizable, and that was a standalone house. So apartments you can be 600 easy.
So this would be comparable
I
to
think to an apartment.
that size, except for the fact of, like you said, you're not sharing a wall with the person beside you. You actually have your own true space.
Exactly right. You have some quietness and some autonomy.
Being that it's a rental, my assumption would be that the upkeep of the landscaping, all of that would be handled by someone else rather than if any senior citizens that are looking for their own space that's, cheaper for them to afford, smaller for them to have to deal with. They're not going to have to handle the mowing or anything like that.
Exactly right. And I should have pointed that out to Councilwoman Smith. It'll be owned by Mr. Blackwell. And so the maintenance, the yard, the maintenance of the units, the roof, the yard, the mowing, all that's done. He'll own it. He'll have to maintain that. So it'll be, if you're a single parent or if you're a single person and you're going to work and coming in tired, and I had to go cut the bushes and all that, that's all taken care of.
Even if you're older and needing to condense down, or you're working 12-hour shifts out at the industrial park.
I would much rather see, and again, we experienced it, and I'm sure Mayor Pitts, we were probably in there together and seeing this when Hemlock started. There were people living in vans because workers would come in and it was transient, and this is a much better arrangement.
I mean, I love this concept. I think there's been a lot of people too that have wondered why we don't have any concepts like this at this time, because there are people that would like these smaller places to be able to live. I know even when I was, younger and living in an apartment, I would have much rather had something like this versus having, shared walls and everything with other people that were there. So I'm actually excited by this and hope this time we're able to get this through.
Thank you.
Councilman Brown, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. So just thinking back, out of high school, young guy, my first house was 700 square foot. Didn't look this nice, but, it's what you can afford at the time. Or as I get a little older, I may look at this and go, I don't have to deal with this much stuff. Where it's just my wife and I or something, and go, we don't need a 1,500 square foot house or something, and can save money and look at something like this where you don't have all the maintenance upkeep of having to mow the grass, which as my father-in-law say, he does it, I don't. But I kind of like them, and with it being close to Fort Campbell also, you may get some young members of the military that, can't afford a house or don't need a big apartment where it's just them, and it looks like it'd be a great item for young people starting out, or as we get older, we don't want to have to maintain a lot of stuff. So I kind of like the work there with the low rent prices.
I'm impressed with your memory. We'll leave it there. Councilman Clout, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The other council members essentially said what I was going to say, right? Like, we don't want to live there. No disrespect, right? I have way too much stuff, but they're just starting out, nearing the latter years, which also, to another council member's thoughts, could reduce cars. Right? I mean, I understand everything's possible, but I'll be a bit more specific. If I'm elderly and I'm not mowing my grass and I'm getting around, but I'm probably not driving by myself. So I'm not getting out on there every day, going down to that store that he was talking about. Probably those trips are limited. So, and nobody knows what could happen, but with the demographic that could move into there, yes, there could be more cars, or maybe there's not as many cars. Is that a fair assumption?
I believe that's a fair assumption, yes.
That's all I have, sir.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Mayor.
Councilman Shekinah, be recognized.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Mr. Orconi, on the entrance into this new neighborhood, it's coming off of Pembroke. Do you have two entrances or one? Or what is that gonna look like? Because we're talking about a lot of
Two
concrete.
entrances, like a racetrack design.
The water, where's the water going? Because we're adding a lot of concrete there.
Oh, yeah. I haven't looked at that, because, I looked at where the water went on the other one all day long.
Yeah.
It had to be, site plan has to be approved, and it's the same thing that we said before. Site plan gets reviewed, it goes through all the appropriate departments, and it'll have to be retained within that square and released at the same rate.
Okay. And my primary issue with this is we're going from an R1 to an R5, right? If the previous one went from an R1 to an R5, we had issues with it. I just try to be consistent with my rationale on how I vote. One of the developers said it best, we pick and choose on what we want to approve and what we don't want to approve. But if we approve one, then we should approve all. So I just try to be consistent, so thank you.
Thank you. Any more questions for Mr. McConey? Councilman Smith, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. I know that these pictures are something he just pulled offline because he told me he didn't have a blueprint at the time. And he didn't want to spend that much money to get a blueprint because I talked to him on the phone. And I said, well, you need to bring something so we can see what you're talking about. I appreciate him bringing that picture he got offline. This is not his blueprint. This is just something he got offline. But like I said, I just think that we're setting this little road up, this narrow. It could be something that we wouldn't want to know about. Okay? I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. McConey. Is there anyone else in the audience that wishes to speak in favor of Ordinance 62? Mr. Blackwell? Wasn't sure Mr. McConey was going to give up the microphone. You're recognized. Give us your
Chris
name,
Blackwell.
please.
I just wanted to touch on Mrs. Smith's concerns there. You are correct. I mean, there's no sense spending money on blueprints until you have something approved. That's just wasted money. So this is very close to what they're going to look like and the floor plans. So we are targeting like single soldiers that's young and trying to find their way. We're targeting maybe moms that want to live close to their kids that can live there by themselves very reasonably. So that's the kind of target. But any questions?
Councilman Brown, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. So, Mr. Blackwell, this drawing on this part, is that kind of what your drawing is? Or
That is exactly it.
Okay. So, how many units is it?
46.
How many parking spaces?
There'll be one per.
One per?
Yes. So when we do like the other place, we would be doubling that with 2-car garages, but this would be, we'd be predicting 1 car per unit.
Okay.
And the water to the rear there's a big hole back there. That's where it's going.
Councilman Smith, you're
Thank you,
recognized.
Mayor. Mr. Blackwell, these rentals, is this gonna be one-night rentals, or this gonna be a contract, long-term rentals, or short-term rentals? What
It's
type
the
of
same as all of mine. I have no short terms. These are all 1 year as
rentals?
minimum.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Zacharias, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for coming back up here, Mr. Blackwell.
Yes, sir.
I hope there's no hard feelings
No, not at
from
all.
last year. And again, I have all the respect in the world for you and the work that you do and your representation and the project. I love the project. I love the product. Not crazy about the location.
Sure.
And I'm as split on this as I've been on any zoning case because I know Clarksville needs the doors.
Mm-hmm.
I know people say that we don't. We got a housing needs assessment over the summer that says we're
We do.
15,000 doors short of a healthy housing market here in Clarksville.
That's right.
So I understand that. I just wish it was anywhere else.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, any more questions for Mr. Blackwell? Thank you, sir. Anyone in the audience wish to speak against Ordinance 62? Next item is item H, Ordinance 56, 2025-26, An ordinance amending the zoning code and map of the city of Clarksville, application of Bryce Powers. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak in favor of ordinance 56? Mr. Powers, give us your name and you have 5 minutes.
Good evening, Bryce Powers, 46 Union Street. You might remember this zoning case. It came before you about a year ago, different owner, and it did fail. I have since bought the property, went through the process. It's currently zoned O1, as you can tell. I went through the process of getting an approved site plan to use this as a commercial building, office building extension of my business. We have 6,000 square foot office building approved, plus a 2,100 square foot accessory building that is currently ready for a permit if we chose to do that. I've decided to go a little bit different direction. I feel like now the right thing to do for the neighborhood is to convert this back to a residential use. It is a smaller lot zoning district of R2A than what's around it, but the homes will be virtually the same size. I've just a quick review of the tax records of that area. Look like they were anywhere from 900 to 1,400 square foot homes. We're going to be about 12 to 1,500 square foot homes, and although the lots are smaller, but the homes will be compatible in size to the surrounding neighborhood. So I do think this is a good, much like a previous case, we've kind of got an oddball zoning in the middle of a residential area and feel like we can clean that up by doing this and then get this property back being used. Happy to answer any questions.
Councilman Streetman, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Powers, if you were to use this as an office space anyway, as it's currently zoned and with the plans that you said you could submit, how much traffic would that add to the neighborhood?
It would be a tremendous amount, especially when we're looking at using it for our business. I mean, our crews will be coming and going all day with trucks and trailers and, parking there, picking up company vehicles and moving around. So it would be a tremendous more. We're proposing, I think I sent each of you guys the proposed layout. It's 8 houses. It would be 3, 4, 5 times the amount of this residential traffic for sure.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Councilman Holloman, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. So let me get this straight. If this goes R2A, there's only going to be one entrance in and out of the development. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So, okay. So then if it was R2, then because of the size of the lots, you would have to basically go up and down the hill with driveways and entrances. Is that about right? Or
I mean, you could go that way either way, but last time it went through, one of the main opposition points was a bunch of driveways coming off the the topography is pretty tight, pretty steep, and that was one of the comments. So I tried to listen to what some of the opposition was in the previous zoning case. It was not my zoning case, but I happened to be here the night it was being heard.
Yeah.
I had another case, so I listened to that and said, hey, let's put a little public road, a little cul-de-sac in and address that concern. So this is kind of a tucked in little place that's going to be, it won't be facing the existing homes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Councilman Shekinah, you're recognized.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Mr. Powers, I see we have 2.1 acres, and like you said, it's, the slopeness there doesn't allow all of it to be developed. So you're looking at 8 units, right?
That's right, yes, just 8 units.
And the entrance off of which road? Just one entrance, right?
Off of Swift Drive.
Yeah, just one. That's the only entrance, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Previously, there was some sort of commercial building there that was demolished years ago, and it's this kind of lining up with that entrance as well that's already there.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilman Clont, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Sir, so you came to another zoning, you didn't own the land, it failed. You took that, what the council said, went back to the drawing board and said, we're gonna do it different.
Yes, sir. I mean, we try to, I think Mr. Oconee said it again, not a case I'm involved in, but when we do try to listen as developers and try to accommodate the best we can, opposition we've heard come up. Yes, sir.
So, and then with 8 units, approximately 16 cars, I mean, that's the.
Sure, yeah. I mean, yeah. Because like I said, they're 1,400 square foot houses. They're not going to be huge car drivers.
Right. And then if left as it is, how many trucks do you own, sir?
We have a fleet of about 40 trucks.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Any more questions for Mr. Powers? Councilman Smith, you're recognized.
So thank you, Mayor. They're gonna have, car garages, how many?
Don't plan to do garages on these,
You're
no
not,
ma'am.
so they'll be parking on the street?
No, they'll be parking in the driveway.
Oh, they have.
Yeah, with the
okay,
front
but
setback allows for.
Oh, just a driveway, but no garages?
Correct. Yes,
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Any more questions for Mr. Powers? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else in the audience wish to speak in favor of Ordinance 56? Anyone in the audience wish to speak against Ordinance 56? Item I, Ordinance 63, 2025-26, an ordinance amending the zoning code and map of the city of Clarksville, application of Richard Collins. Anyone in the audience wish to speak in favor of ordinance 63? Anyone in the audience wish to speak against ordinance 63? Next item, item J, resolution 43, 2025-26, a resolution annexing parcels north of Highway 76 and east of Hornbuckle Road and west of Little Hope Road. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak in favor of ordinance resolution 43? Anyone in the audience wish to speak against resolution 43? Next item, item K, resolution 44, 2025-26, a resolution adopting a plan of service for parcels north of Highway 76 and east of Hornbuckle Road and west of Little Hope Road. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak in favor of resolution 44? Anyone in the audience wish to speak against resolution 44? Councilman Streetman.
Thank you, Mayor. I move we go back into regular session.
Motion been made and properly seconded to revert to regular session. We are now in regular session. Councilman Streetman.
Thank you, Mayor. As recommended on the advice of our attorney, all motions will be made in the form of approval. Ordinance 39, 2025-26, first reading, an ordinance amending the zoning code and map of the city of Clarksville, application of Kevin Huh for a zone change on two properties located on the east frontage of College Street, east of the College Street and Craft Street intersection from M1 Light Industrial District to C5 Highway and Arterial Commercial District. Both the Regional Planning Commission and the staff recommended approval, and I so move.
Motion been made and properly seconded in favor of ordinance 39. Any comment or question regarding ordinance 39? Seeing none, hearing none, are you ready to vote? All members, please cast your vote. Every member voted. Any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
13 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain.
Ordinance 39 passes first reading. Councilman Streetman.
Ordinance 47, 2025-26, first reading. An ordinance amending the zoning code and map of the city of Clarksville, application of Tommy and Reese Byard for a zone change on property located at 1911 Old Russellville Pike from R1 Single Family Residential District to R2A Single Family Residential District. Both the Regional Planning Commission and the staff recommend approval, and I so move.
Motion been made and properly seconded in favor of ordinance 47. Any comment or question regarding ordinance 47? Councilman Chandler, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd just like to make a statement that, we've heard about flooding. We've heard about narrow streets. If we vote this down, the flooding issue is still gonna be there. The narrow streets are still gonna be there. I think we owe it to the developer. They have come out with a plan more than they had to, and I will be voting in favor of it. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Streetman, you're recognized. Ladies and gentlemen, I urge you to be quiet.
Point of order, Mayor.
You're recognized for a point of order.
If one more outburst comes from this gallery, I will ask the police department with the authority of the mayor to clear it. You are grown people. Don't act like a bunch of crazy children.
Councilman Streetman, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. I will say I've been torn on this one for well over a week now. I've gone back and forth with okay, yes, okay, no. Never a firm way, one way or another. I took into consideration what I heard from the family at the Regional Planning Commission when they said that they didn't start having water on their property. And the woman that spoke, I mean, it's her family. She's grown up there, and they didn't start having water on that family farm until everything developed around them. And I even sat here and looked while we were going through the very long public hearing process. I was looking at everything that was built because one of the speakers in opposition said it's been flooding since 2001. Well, I started looking at when everything was built around it. Guess what? It was late 1990s and, early 2000s that everything was being built. So kind of lines up that they started flooding after everything around them started directing that water to them. So it was hard to think that it was fair to be able to punish them as the only lot that's left. They've taken all the water from everybody else, and then to say that we couldn't develop along there, knowing that R1 is a possibility. And I know Mr. Riccone said nobody else is going to touch it, but you give it a little while, somebody is going to. And they're going to try and develop it as R1. And so you're talking about an additional 14 lots. But then I also thought from the other side that yes, there is water there. Yes, we have traffic that's affecting there. And that's where I also started having those additional conversations regarding the stop sign at the intersection of Old Russellville Pike and Dunbar Cave. Also trying to learn more in regard to that flooding that was occurring along there. Also hearing from the family, part of the issue is having stuff where trees and stuff were trimmed next door being thrown in the front ditch, and bringing that up last week so that hopefully that can be addressed in the future as well. The fact that the developer took an extra step without being requested, without being asked to do the hydrology report. That's not something that ever comes before us. Taking every step to try and figure out, and then finding out yesterday, wading in water. I'd never want to go wading in one of the pipes to try and look at everything, especially, again, with the picture of the snake. So he's making a definite effort. As pointed out, he's going to be here before us again. So if we can't do conditional zoning. We can't say that, okay, we're going to approve it only if you do this. That we can't put that on there. However, we can remember what was set up here. And in the past, I've never seen it to where he has said he was going to do something that he didn't do. There are some that have done that. He is not one of those. I can't guarantee when this comes back around and we have to, if this were to pass tonight, if there is a second reading, I can't guarantee that I won't pull it off the consent agenda and change my mind. But tonight, I am going to vote yes. I do want to take what was presented to us tonight. I want to get more information on that directly outside of, the person that's developing it, talk more to our department heads. I also have to remember when there's been a lot of talk in regard to the city pipe and the clogging, we all voted on the budget. Most of us that were here all voted on the budget last year, and included in that was money for the development of a stormwater division, which is going to be something that's also going to help us really find more and more of these issues and try and be able to deal with them and get even more of a handle on it than we've already been having. I know it was referenced that a lot of these places were built, and that's why water goes on them. They were built a long time ago. It's not our current departments that were building these homes. Some of these were built prior to being in the city, but there's already been a lot of work done. And again, so tonight I am voting yes, but I cannot guarantee that my yes vote will come back around for the second reading should it make it that far.
Councilman Marquis, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. I did pass down a construction plan. It's just kind of look at it and pass down. There was questions on the pipe and the flow of the water. There are arrows showing the direction of the flow and the pipes that are being put at the front of the property. Currently, they are 12 inches, and Mr. Blackwell is going to be putting larger pipes up to 18 inches. So that will substantially move quite a bit of water there. But if you take note, there are some fine print there just because of the size of the paper. I'm sorry, you might need a magnifying glass. That's usually printed on way bigger paper. But if you look at what I have circled over there, for those who have the sheet, number 5 states that the contractor shall construct the stormwater detention facilities prior to the beginning of any other grading operations. So typically with these types of plans, that is something that they have to do. And then the street department has to go out there with their engineers and pretty much check a box. So they're like, oh, okay, did you do this on this plan? And then once they've accepted that it's been done right, it's been actually done, then he can go in and build his the rest of his development there. So that is on those sheets that they are submitting, just so that we're aware of that. And then I did want to say some additional things here that I wrote down, that the drainage improvements are quite expensive. And so the R2A rezoning allows enough homes to offset the cost. Because if the rezone fails, as we've heard, it can still be developed just with fewer homes, but that does increase the price. So if you did do the math, it is about right under 15K on just drainage cost. So likely, again, it goes two ways. So it's either that the builder will build the homes with a cheaper material, or, or they build higher price homes to make the numbers work. An entire subdivision priced incrementally higher will drive up surrounding assessments over time. We're seeing this across the city right now. I can pull up certain addresses in North Clarksville where you have homes that are valued at $100,000 roughly, and they have almost $600,000 homes back in between them. You have an $8.5 million R4 right behind, and then another subdivision that is an average of $300K, like one street over. And so all the homes that are $100,000 here are slowly starting to rise in price, and it's pushing the people out. Because our next tax assessment for property value is in 2029. Those people are endangered when homes do not match the neighborhood. So we need to make sure that the homes that we are putting or approving stay within the same price range. And then, so if Mr. Blackwell does not develop this lot, there are developers in the city who will put more expensive homes there. They're doing it right now. And so at least with what we're getting with R2A is a home that stays within the same medium price range as the surrounding area. As I know we heard a little bit of the traffic. I did speak to the street department about that. I am told that it is in the plan right now. There's about 3 or 4 intersections that have to be done prior to this one, just because that's how it works. I mean, I've pulled crash data from another area, and they've experienced like 57 crashes within the last 3 years, and then I compared it to this one. This one was like 9. Specifically, this intersection was like 9. So obviously, as other areas in the city have higher crash, they are prioritized, but I'm told there's like 3 or 4 right before this one can get done. So it is coming. It's taking a bit longer than anticipated. So at the end of this, it's really that, do we want either cheaper homes or more expensive that price out the neighbors, because that's what R1 is offering? Or do we want homes that will at least stay within the medium price range and fix the drainage issue, because that's what's being proposed right now. And so I will be voting in favor for this.
Councilman Clout, you're recognized.
I thank you, Mr. Mayor. What an awesome opportunity it is to have these discussions, because everybody has a slightly different perspective. We look at it a little bit differently. The council members that spoke brought up fantastic points. I also have toyed with this. I have lost sleep. We don't need to say that. It has affected me on both sides, because I get an email that says yes, I get an email that says no, and I can't talk to them. If you guys didn't know that. So I'm on an island. We're on 12, 13 islands, sorting through this information, taking into account the passion, the emotion that is involved in this. Great points, perspectives that I saw parts of and didn't see other parts of. There's a couple things that I do want to say. Nobody likes to be told what they can and can't do with something that's theirs. Let's start right there, right? Nobody likes to be told what they can and can't do with something that they own, that's been handed down generation to generation. I respect that. It's kind of what that flag means, why we're all here right now. I respect the opposition of that. But I guarantee you, if I came to your house tomorrow and said, you can't do this anymore, you're going to very quickly remove me from your property, because that's not mine, right? I also believe there's a builder that is vested in this city that has 20 years of building in this city, that has a reputation, that has not had a court case where he's not done something that he said he would do. I approximate it's probably closer to 12 to 15,000 homes that he's built. And again, to another council member's point, if he pulls the wool over on our eyes now, he's got to come back here. And I won't forget that. There's tapes that are gonna say that, and then you guys are gonna remind us of that as well, right? Is it the lesser of two evils? I don't know. But we have somebody here now that is a member of this community, that is willing to go above and beyond. It is not, there is no perfect solution. There's really not. Somebody's gonna leave here angry, or a group of people are gonna leave here angry. And that hurts me because I want everybody to win, but that's not how this works. What is the lesser of two evils? A gamble of we vote no, and then we get, God forbid, a builder from Nashville come up here that doesn't care about Clarksville? Or a builder that is established in Clarksville, has a reputation in Clarksville, has a record in Clarksville, and is going to stand in front of that podium many more times. I will be voting yes on this, and I don't want anybody out here, and I know it's words, right? It's easy to say something. This has not sat lightly with, I don't believe, anybody that sits up here. No one. But I want to know what's going to happen. And we have a man that's going to tell us what's going to happen. Does that mean everything is going to go the way that he says it is? Nothing does. There's a God, there's nature. We don't know. But he has a plan. He's walked it. He's not sitting in a high-rise in Nashville saying, just go buy it. He is a part of this community. That's all I have, sir.
Councilman Chikina, be recognized.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I'm getting tired. Man. I met with the property owners when this was originally proposed for an R5, all right? And an R1 to an R5, that's just too big of a jump for me. Even if there are other R5s around there, it's just too big of a jump for me. I spoke with the owners at length. I spoke with the developer at length about an R2A. But I also heard from the residents, and I told the owners, right? I respect them and I support them. But I also, and they're one of my constituents, or a few of my constituents, because the property is in my ward. But I also have to support the other residents. So for that, I'm going to vote no.
Councilman Holloman, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. So I'll just talk about a few things. I got some stuff I would like to address, but typically I only say about 1/5 of what's going through my mind because my brain goes really, really fast when I start talking. But as far as this zone goes, so we could potentially have a drainage issue fix, or it couldn't. But just from what I've heard of the residents here tonight, it seems like they're happy with what they've got. The bad drainage problem as it is, but it may be bad, but at least they know what they have. Whereas if we develop it, we run a lot of unknown risks. Yes, it could help the drainage, but it could also make it worse. We don't know. We're not fortune tellers, but it was mentioned a few times as far as like a transitional zoning. So it goes from like let's see here, like R5 to R2A to R1. It's an R1 neighborhood, but the main argument for it to be transitional and so important is because we got to make money. Like that's what it boils down to. Like it's convenient, so like yeah, we need a transitional rezone because we gotta make that money. It's I see it every month and I get tired of it, get more and more tired of it. Seeing all these developments, and we destroyed our city, and all the developers think, and I'm not attacking anyone personally. I voted for y'all's developments, a lot of them. So like I'm a part of that as well. But I mean, every square inch of Clarksville, we just need to bulldoze those trees and build some buildings that we can sell. That's the name of the game. It will never be enough. No matter what, no matter how much we develop Clarksville or destroy Clarksville or whatever, it will never be enough because that's just how the nature of following money goes. There's once a great man that says you can. I'm gonna butcher it because my adrenaline's pumping. But he says you can serve one master, but you cannot serve two masters. Is what he's saying. And he was talking about money, and that's from the Bible. But there are plenty of examples, and I'll just, you know what, I'll just go down the list here as we go through the rezones. But I'm definitely going to be a no vote. One of the arguments for the developers, they say, oh well, this is going to stimulate the economy. We're going to hire all kinds of people and get the economy, local economy moving. Well, if that's the case, then why is like 70 to 80% of the construction workers immigrants that don't speak English? You know, like they take the money and they send it off to another country. You know, like that's what happens. And so I will be voting no, and yeah, you'll be hearing from me again. Thank you.
Councilman Brown, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to throw a little light note in there. Talking about the four-way stop up there, that I don't think that should be a four-way stop at Dunbar Cave and Old Russellville. Traffic would back up to Wilma Rudolph Boulevard there, but it might be a good spot for a roundabout.
Coming to a budget near you, sir. Any more comment or question regarding this ordinance? Seeing none, hearing none, are you ready to vote? All members, please cast your vote. Every member voted. Any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
7 yes, 6 no, 0 abstain.
Ordinance 47 passes first reading. Councilman Streetman, you're recognized.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on one second. Ordinance 57, 2025, 26. First reading, an ordinance amending the zoning code and map of the city of Clarksville, application of John Mark.
Ladies and gentlemen, please. Ladies and gentlemen, please be quiet as you leave the council chambers. Councilman Streetman, you're recognized.
I'm going to start that over. I apologize.
Please.
Ordinance 57, 2025, 26, first reading. An ordinance amending the zoning code and map of the city of Clarksville, application of John Mark Holloman for a zone change on property located at 2610 Ashland City Road.
Councilman Streetman, I think
missed
you've skipped
one.
one, yeah.
I'm so sorry.
It's all right. Back up and get it.
Third time's the charm? Ordinance 54, 2025, 26, first reading. An ordinance amending the zoning code and map of the city of Clarksville, application of Mark and Catherine Barton for a zone change on 3 parcels located north of the intersection of Wilcox Street and Marion Street from R4 Multiple Family Residential District to CBD Central Business District. Both the Regional Planning Commission and the staff recommended approval, and I so move.
Motion been made and properly seconded in favor of ordinance 54. Any comment or question regarding ordinance 54? Seeing none, hearing none, are you ready to vote? All members, please cast your vote. Every member voted. Any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
13 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain.
Ordinance 54 passes first reading. Councilman Streetman.
Now, ordinance 57, 2025, 26, first reading. An ordinance amending the zoning code and map of the city of Clarksville, application of John Mark Holloman for a zone change on property located at 2610 Ashland City Road from R1 Single Family Residential District to R5 Residential District. The Regional Planning Commission and the staff recommended approval, and I so move.
Motion been made and properly seconded in favor of ordinance 57. Any comment or question regarding ordinance 57? Councilman Holloman, you're recognized on ordinance 57.
Thank you, Mayor. So I am against this, and I'm going to be voting no. Typically, because of family affiliations, I abstain on these type of rezones, but this one I feel like is bad for Ward 7. You know, it's kind of reiterate what I said earlier. You look at the bypass, and the future is high density all the way down the bypass. Just drive down Fort Campbell Boulevard behind Rural King, and then like all the other apartment developments. Like that's the future for the bypass, and I guarantee that the residents don't want that. I actually spoke to a resident over in the Coy Lacey area this morning, and he was talking about the traffic, everyone cutting through Lacey Lane. And so if this is approved, it's just gonna increase. I know the street department likes to say stuff like, oh, this isn't gonna affect traffic, and well, this one small rezone, it won't really affect traffic. But you gotta think, if every rezone we do increases traffic by 0.1%, and then 0.1%, and then it increases 0.1%, that adds up. And so the fact of the matter is, like, I think all these rezones affect traffic negatively. I will be voting against this, and I ask you all to as well. Thank you.
Any more comment or question regarding ordinance 57? Seeing none, hearing none, are you ready to vote? All members, please cast your vote. Every member voted. Any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
9 yes, 4 no, 0 abstain.
Ordinance 57 passes first reading. Councilman Streetman.
Ordinance 59, 2025, 26. An ordinance, a first reading. An ordinance amending the zoning code and map of the city of Clarksville, application of Terrence Burney for a zone change on property located at 2075 North Ford Street from M2 General Industrial District to R2A Single Family Residential District. The RPC and the Regional Planning Commission and the staff recommended approval, and I so move.
Motion been made and properly seconded in favor of ordinance 59. Any comment or question regarding ordinance 59? Hearing none, seeing none, are you ready to vote? All members, please cast your vote. Every member voted. Any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
11 yes, 2 no, 0 abstain.
Ordinance 59 passes first reading. Councilman Streetman.
Ordinance 60, 2025, 26, first reading. An ordinance amending the zoning code and map of the city of Clarksville, application of Ligon Home Builders for a zone change on property located at 1640 Evans Road from R2D, two-family residential district, to R1, single-family residential district. Both the Regional Planning Commission and the staff recommended approval, and I so move.
Motion been made and properly seconded in favor of ordinance 60. Any comment or question regarding ordinance 60? Councilman Marquis, you're recognized.
Just real quick, I did speak with this developer and he wants, it was a reminder that he's only building one house. The R2D does not allow for one single family, and the topography makes it that he can't build a duplex, so he just wants one house. That's all.
Thank you. Any more comment or question regarding this ordinance? Seeing none, hearing none, are you ready to vote? All members, please cast your vote. Every member voted. Any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
13 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain.
Ordinance 60 passes first reading. Councilman Streetman.
Ordinance 62, 2025, 26, first reading. An ordinance amending the zoning code and map of the city of Clarksville, application of Chris Blackwell for a zone change on property located at 3341 and 3351 Pembroke Road from R1 Single Family Residential District to R5 Single Family Residential District. Both the Regional Planning Commission and the staff recommended approval, and I so move.
Motion been made and properly seconded in favor of ordinance 62. Councilman Marquis, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. I know some of this has already been said, but I did pull up the chart from our housing assessment that we have for the 2024 to 2029 timeframe. We have a gap of 1,073 units between the price range of $600 and $1,000. That are rentals. And this development seems to help fit a gap that we're not seeing at all being built currently. And back in January, I did at one point visit the warming shelter, and there was a gentleman there who actually worked down at Industrial Park, who was there because he could not afford a home. And I helped him call up around town looking for anything that is less than $1,000. And it was very difficult because the stipulations that some of the nonprofits have, even with helping him pay for like a deposit and get that first month's rent, is also the timing of how long he's had that job. So he had to have been at that job for like at least was it a month before they would even help him. That's why he was at the warming shelter, because and then he couldn't find really any units. There were probably like two that we found that were right at $1,000 just in cost of the house. He then had to pay for utility connections and utility fees. That was pretty much eating up all of his salary. And we need units that are within this price range so that people like that aren't, without a home. Part of my notes here. The American Community Survey, the ACS of Montgomery County, estimate that 43.3% of our renters are cost burdened. So they spend more than 30% of their income on rent. And what's happening is that because they're spending so much of their income, they can't have economic mobility. If they did, they would help them actually put down payments on their homes or pay off debts. And mobility here is not just about ownership, it's about having stability during certain transitions. Transitions such as young adults entering the workforce, couples saving for new home ownership that, they need to have that money to put a down payment. Specifically to Fort Campbell are our military veterans. When they transition out of the military into the civilian sector, there are a lot of unknowns out there because they don't know the type of jobs that they're going to be able to get. Many of them actually enter with basic retail experience or just something that's super basic that may not be able to help them pay off the rent if they stay here until they can stabilize, and that's what this can help them do. Another situation here is also that maybe many people don't realize, but divorce recovery situations or single parents resettling financially. That's a huge change in somebody's life that units like this can also help. It was mentioned previously, seniors downsizing. We have a lot of seniors in our community that are on fixed incomes, either Social Security or even VA. And there comes a time and age where you can no longer deal with your own lawn, so you pay other people to do it. And if you're on a fixed income, that starts eating away at your monthly paycheck as well. So the point here is that a lot of people in our community are affected by not having homes that they can afford. And this provides a very small opportunity for our community to start seeing what those homes look like. And again, like that individual I encountered, not being homeless in some cases. So I am very much for this and more of these to come in Clarksville if we can get that price range in. I will be voting in favor. Thank you.
Councilman Clout, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. There's a shift in what's needed in Clarksville for housing. We all don't want ranches. We all don't want 4 bedrooms and 4 baths. There's builders that are understanding that. They're seeing that. There's also a mind shift change in what's happening downtown and smaller communities that are, for lack of a better term, self-contained. Where we're not going out, we're not sprawling, we're building up. So I will be voting yes to this, but I also challenge builders, and I've spoken to a couple offline, to let's change this. This is the start of that. This is an opportunity that we haven't done. Houses, got it. They're small. They're for 2 very different demographics of people or 3 different demographics that are needed. It's not a bad thing. But let's start thinking about putting retail spaces or gardens in the middle of that so that it is a self-contained habitat almost, if that makes sense. This is fantastic. It is not all the way the answer, but we're well on the way of doing something different and expecting a different result, as opposed to doing the same thing and wanting a different result. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Councilman Streetman, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate all the points that were made. I know the councilperson from Ward 5 was talking about the cost savings that you would have when you are a lower income person. And even as she was sitting there listing all those off, I also thought, again, thinking about our seniors especially, when you're talking about a smaller house like this than what they've been living in, you're also saving them on things such as your utilities as well. They're not heating a 1,200 square foot home. They're heating a 600 to 800 square foot home. To me, I love this concept. Like I said, I loved it a year ago when it came before us. There was a lot of discussion too, and the early meetings regarding the zoning rewrite to ensure that there was a way to have these types of homes included in that zoning. And I'm glad we at least found a way that we can be able to do this. But I think it's an excellent opportunity, especially as Mr. Riccone mentioned, and the speaker from Ward 2 mentioned, you're having them all right here in a contained neighborhood together. While it may not have all the other things, you still have them in a contained area to where it's not, big house, little bitty houses, big house, little bitty houses. They're all right there together. It's a great way to kind of build that neighborhood together and have, as was mentioned, you know, you have some of your soldiers, you have some of your industrial workers, you may have a single mom that's there, you have some senior citizens. I think this is a wonderful opportunity, and being involved with and serving on the Neighborhood and Community Services Committee, I know the need that is out there for this affordable housing, and this is a great opportunity to see how well this goes and to see if there's other opportunities for more things like this to be done, to be able to serve those in need so that they do have this, because I can assure you they'd much rather have a tiny home to live in than a tiny car to live in. So I'm going to be voting in favor of this tonight as well.
Councilman Holloman, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. So tonight, on this rezone specifically, we talked about rentals, and we talked about the need for rent, which always seems to happen when we're rezoning for rentals, you know, because the need always just seems to pop up. I like, you know, okay, my honest opinion is I like the blueprint. I think that's pretty cool house. But the problem is we talk about affordable living and affordable rent. I know a lot of senior citizens that are living out of their car right now. I don't think they could afford this. I've worked retail. I know like what your average Joe Schmo makes. I know like what he brings home because I've worked retail with him. I know. I've experienced it. They're not going to be able to afford rent. I just don't see this being the solution that we really think that it is. Thank you.
Any more comment or question regarding Ordinance 62? Seeing none, hearing none, are you ready to vote? All members, please cast your vote. Every member voted. Any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
10 yes, 3 no, 0 abstain.
Ordinance 62 passes first reading. Councilman Streetman.
Ordinance 63, 2025, 26, first reading. An ordinance amending the zoning code and map of the city of Clarksville. Application of Richard Collins for a zone change.
Did you miss one
Did
again?
I do it again?
We're on Ordinance 56.
They're out of order. I apologize. Now I'm out of order. Ordinance 56, an ordinance amending the zoning code and map of the city of Clarksville, application of Bryce Powers for a zone change on property located at 1018 Swift Drive from O1 Office District to R2A Single Family Residential District. Both the Regional Planning Commission and the staff recommended approval, and I so move.
Motion been made and properly seconded in favor of Ordinance 56. Any comment or question regarding Ordinance 56? Councilman Holloman, you're recognized.
So with this rezone, it's in an R2 neighborhood. It is R2A. I don't think that it totally fits. I do think that money is the deciding factor as far as R2 versus R2A. And you're not going to convince me otherwise of that. That being said, given the past rezones we've had to fight against, and given the office space, I know Mr. Powers has quite the operation as well. Having one entrance in and out on that corner is probably the best option that we could have. I guess I'm speaking to the residents over in that area. And so given the nature of things, I'm going to be voting against it. But if it passes, there are definitely worse things that could happen. I think that corner access right there, I think that's probably our best bet, and we should be thankful. But that's all. Thank you.
Councilman Clont, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Again, another builder wanting to do it a little different. Is it the right answer? I think it's headed in that direction. I think this is a first step in rethinking the way that we build, rethinking housing solutions. And he's also made concessions and heard what this council has had to say previously, put that into his plan. I will be voting yes. That's all I have, sir.
Thank you. Any more comment or question regarding this ordinance? Seeing none, hearing none, are you ready to vote? All members, please cast your vote. Every member voted. Any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
12 yes, 1 no, 0 abstain.
Ordinance 56 passes first reading. Councilman Streetman.
Ordinance 63, 2025, 26, first reading. An ordinance amending the zoning code and map of the city of Clarksville, application of Richard Collins for a zone change on property fronting on the north of Dover Road, US 79, east of Paula Drive and west of Ariella Lynn Drive from C2 General Commercial District to C5 Highway and Arterial Commercial District. Both the Regional Planning Commission and the staff recommended approval, and I so move.
Motion been made and properly seconded in favor of ordinance 63, and for those of us from New Providence, that's Aurelia Lynn Drive, so we will, any comment or question regarding this ordinance? Seeing none, hearing none, are you ready to vote? All members, please cast your vote. Every member voted. Any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
13 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain.
Ordinance 63 passes. First reading. Councilman Streetman.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution 43, 2025, 20, sorry, I was double checking that. 43, 2025, 26, a resolution annexing parcels north of Highway 76 and east of Hornbuckle Road and west of Little Hope Road. I make a motion for approval.
Motion been made and properly seconded in favor of Resolution 43. Any comment or question
I would
regarding Resolution 43?
Just like to add that this is where this is the location where they are looking at building the hospital out in that area. This step is necessary in order to move on to the following steps in order to be able to get this built. This is one of 2 hospitals that are coming our way, and these are much needed facilities in our area, especially with a community our size, and I would ask that you support this annexation.
Councilman Brown, you recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. So when we were trying to get these hospitals to come to us, there was a lot of people talking in favor of this because we need the hospitals. But now this comes up and it's wanting to be annexed into the city. Now we have people complaining about it being annexed into the city. Well, the hospital wants to be inside the city limits. They get better fire protection. Fire protection, I believe the code for city fire rating is a 2. County fire service rating is a 10. Their fire insurance would be through the roof. And it's already right here at the city limits. And I just wanted, to point that out, that we wanted these hospitals to come here. This is a part of it, annexing that lot into the city so that they could have those services. This hospital is going to do a lot for this community, and I believe that we should support them.
Thank you. Councilman Streetman, you're recognized.
Thank you. I wanted to tack on just a little bit to what my fellow council member was just talking about. Also, clarification for the public, this is not the city taking this and requiring them, forcing them to be in the city. This is an application that was made to the mayor through the process that it has to go. It was made to the mayor, then it goes forward to the Regional Planning Commission, and then comes to us to make the decision. We as a city cannot just go out and decide to make any area be part of the city. So I just want to make sure the public is fully aware of that.
Okay, any more comment or question? Councilman Smith, you're recognized.
Yeah, I'm also happy to know that Ascension St. Thomas is the one that will be moving out here in this area, wanting to set up, and I think they're gonna have a 44 bed, and it can expand to, I think 132. I might be wrong on the numbers, but I know Vanderbilt has already taken over to Nova. They already have their temporary signs up, so I'm just happy to have these hospitals. We need them. I will be voting in favor of this. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more comment or question regarding this resolution? Seeing none, hearing none, are you ready to vote? Apparently you are. Every member cast your vote. Every member voted. Any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, please take the vote real quick.
13 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain.
Resolution 43 is adopted. Councilman Streetman.
Resolution 44, 2025, 26, a resolution adopting a plan of service for parcels north of Highway 76 and east of Hornbuckle Road and west of Little Hope Road. I make a motion for approval.
Motion been made and properly seconded in favor of Resolution 44. Any comment or question regarding this resolution? Seeing none, hearing none. Are you ready to vote? All members, please cast your vote. Every member voted. Any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
13 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain.
Resolution 44 is adopted. Councilman Streetman.
Yes, Mayor, I want to clarify a statement I made a minute ago about them being out of order. They are not truly out of order. I mean, it was 100% my fault. I only meant the number, not the order that they were put on here. I do know that we have to put them on here in the order they come from the RPC, and the number is dictated by when they are applied for. So I felt bad, like I was saying someone else got something wrong, when it was just entirely my fault.
Thank you very much.
And
Thank
after 2.5 hours and multiple stumbles through that, that finally concludes my report.
All right, thank you. Councilman Holloman, for what purpose?
I'd like to change my vote on one of the rezones. Item E, I would like to change that to a no vote.
We've already gavelled it down, so you're recorded as a yes.
I thought we could change votes, couldn't we?
Mr. Bittner, I don't think we can.
We've done it before, haven't we?
Hang on a second. I stand to be corrected, or I sit to be corrected at this hour. Counselor?
I thought the proper way to do it was to motion to reconsider it, but were you on the prevailing side?
I was on the prevailing side, yes.
Okay. Then we could do a motion to reconsider and bring it back forward and re-vote it again if it passes, but.
Yeah. Okay. In that case, I'll vote no on the consent agenda next month. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, Madam Clerk, please read the consent agenda.
All items in this portion of the agenda are considered to be routine and non-controversial by the council and may be approved by one motion. However, a member of the council may request that an item be removed for separate consideration under the appropriate committee report. Ordinance 52, 2025-26, second reading. An ordinance amending the official code of the City of Clarksville, Title 4, Building, Utility, and Housing Codes, Chapter 2, Building Code, Section 4-203, Building Permit Fees, Paragraph 2B, and Chapter 7, Energy Code, Section 4-701, International Energy Conservation Code adopted to provide needed updates. Resolution 45, 2025-26, a resolution approving a certificate of compliance for the sale of wine in a food store at West Fork Market, located at 1475 Tiny Town Road. Resolution 46, 2025-26, a resolution approving appointments to the Act Authority and the Audit Board, and the adoption of minutes from February 5th.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I'll entertain a motion and a second. Motion been made and properly seconded in favor of the consent agenda. Any member wish to be recognized on the consent agenda? Seeing none, are you ready to vote? All members, please cast your vote. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Please read the vote.
12 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain.
Thank you. The consent agenda is adopted. We're now ready for the Finance Committee report. Chairman Streetman.
Ordinance 45, 2025-26, first reading. This item was originally postponed at the January 8th, 2025 regular session to this session. An ordinance authorizing the mayor or his designee to conduct negotiations and to enter into an agreement for the purchase of real property for the purpose of expanding homeless support services in partnership with Clarksville Area Urban Ministries and The Well, a mission of Trenton Crossing Church of Christ. Both the Finance and Neighborhood Community Services Committees voted in favor of approval. In order to get it back on the floor, I make a motion for approval.
Motion been made and properly seconded in favor of ordinance 45. Chairman Streetman.
And now I make a motion to postpone this item indefinitely.
Motion been made and properly seconded to postpone this ordinance indefinitely. Any comment or question regarding this motion? Councilman Shekinah, you're recognized.
Yes, Mayor, thank you. And for the council, to my right, just for the public's clarification, why are we postponing indefinitely?
Well, I know that there has been more discussions that have been had and looking at what we need to do. I know that Neighborhood and Community Services supports postponing this indefinitely at this time, but I think there are several things that need to be looked at and considered, and I know it was put out in a public press release that this would be postponed indefinitely as well.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Smith on the motion to postpone
Yes,
indefinitely. You're
I just wanted
recognized.
to add on that, I think Urban Ministries decided that they was gonna go along with someone else, or they found another location, and that's the reason why they wanted to go ahead and postpone it. I mean, we're postponing it because they no longer want to use the well, as the place or location to house the homeless downtown. Well,
Count-
that's what the mayor put out.
Councilman Lovato, point of information, you're recognized.
Go ahead.
Yes, it is true. Urban Ministries decided to pull out, but it is not because they found another location. That is inaccurate. That's all.
Okay. All right. Councilman Smith, you have the floor.
I just thought that's what I had read from your letter that was sent out, that they were going to, they have found someone else to partner with or to do something, find another place, another location is what your letter said that was sent out. And they were no longer seeking the well, so it doesn't matter, as long as we know it's not gonna be there, so it's gonna be postponed indefinitely. Okay, thank you, Mayor.
Any more comment or question regarding this motion to postpone indefinitely, ordinance 45? Seeing none, hearing none. Are you ready to vote? All members, please cast your vote. Every member voted. Any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
11 yes, 0 no, 1 abstain.
The motion to postpone passes. Chairman Streetman.
Ordinance 55, 2025, 26, first reading. An ordinance accepting the donation of certain real property from Aspire Clarksville to the city of Clarksville for the purpose of greenway development approaching Ringgold Road. Finance Committee voted in favor of approval, and I so move.
Motion been made and properly seconded in favor of ordinance 55. Any comment or question regarding this ordinance? Seeing none, hearing none, are you ready to vote? All members, please cast your vote. Every member voted. Any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
12 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain.
Ordinance 55 passes. First reading. Chairman Streetman.
Resolution 47, 2025, 26, a resolution authorizing the Regional Planning Commission to exercise plating per Tennessee Code annotated 13-3-402. The Finance Committee recommended approval, and I so move.
Motion been made and properly seconded in favor of this resolution. Any more comment or question regarding this resolution? Seeing none, hearing none, are you ready to vote? All members, please cast your vote. Every member voted. Any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
10 yes, 1 no, 0 abstain.
Resolution 47 is adopted. Chairman Streetman.
That concludes my report, Mayor.
All right, thank you. We're ready for Neighborhood and Community Services Committee. Chairman Shekina, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, I would like to give the Clarksville Neighborhood and Community Services Committee report for March. First of all, our next meeting will be on Monday, the 9th of March at 4:30 p.m. in the City Hall Conference Room. I want to highlight the Emergency Utility Assistance Program, provide an update on that. We did provide a lot of short-term emergency assistance with residents facing financial hardships, especially in the area of high utility bills, based on the recent storm. We provided 164 residents some form of assistance. We did $100 one-time subsidies to help families to offset the increase in utility cost that was experienced by the extreme weather. And this program is really designed to really be simple and very responsive to the needs of our citizens. And of course, it provides some help in terms of saving them late fees and penalties with gas and water and things like that. We do appreciate Clarksville CDE Light Band and Gas and Water for referring certain customers that were in need to us in a timely manner so we could have helped them. The next item I would like to cover will be the Financial Empowerment Center. I've been mentioning that now for a few months. The city received a grant for $150,000 to establish this Financial Empowerment Center in our community. And the purpose of this thing is going to be to provide that one-on-one coaching to help individuals and families take control of their finances. We will have certified financial counselors employed by the city of Clarksville who will work alongside the clients to set financial goals, build budgets, reduce debt, improve credit, increase savings, and plan for long-term financial stability. More importantly, these services are provided at no cost to our citizens. And the last thing I want to highlight is a tremendous thanks to the program director for the Financial Empowerment Center, Clarissa Tucker, for leading the grant application and the development process. She really bent over backwards to make sure this award was possible. So we want to thank her and thank the rest of the Clarksville Neighborhood and Community Services team for a job well done. This concludes my report, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Any question about this committee report? Seeing none, we're ready for Parks and Recreation Committee. Chairman Zacharias, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. Parks and Recreation would like to remind everybody about 3 upcoming events worth highlighting. First, Boots, Beats, and Bites will take place March 14th from 7 to 10 p.m. The evening begins with easy line dancing and continues with a DJ playing country favorites and current hits. Attendees can also enjoy local craft brews, food trucks, and a heated outdoor lounge. For parents looking for a night out, Parents' Night Out Nerf Wars will be held March 20th from 6 to 8:30 p.m. for kids age 6 to 12. And that event features team games, challenges, and free play in a supervised setting with pizza, snacks, and equipment provided. And then finally, on March 21st from 10 to 3 p.m., 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., the historic L&N train station will host Depot Days, American War Stories, where visitors can meet reenactors in period uniforms and learn about the soldiers who once departed from that very depot during times of war. And then finally, if you are interested in joining the Parks and Rec team, we are looking for an aquatics facilities manager, aquatics team lead, associate historical interpreter, athletic facility manager, grounds and facilities maintenance assistant, lifeguard, Parks and Rec instructor, Parks and Recreation aquatics superintendent, and a pro shop clerk. I think I might be working there by the end of the week. And for more information and a complete list of programs, classes, and ongoing activities, you can visit clarksvilleparksrec.com or download our app. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any comment or question regarding this committee report? We're now ready for Public Safety Committee. Chairman Lovato, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. Starting with Building and Codes, the Construction Division did 1,838 total inspections. The Code Enforcement Division did 236 new cases. The Abatement Division did 11 work orders, and the total revenue generated was $181,852.82. For the Clarksville Police Department, we continue to see victims of scammers, many of whom claim to be with CPD or somehow affiliated. Please be mindful and call us anytime you think something does not seem right. We have our Spring Fest coming up on March 17th at the Summit Heights from 12 to 3. They will have games and food. Our STAT class starts March 14th from 8 a.m. to noon. The location is at Civic Hall Building, 350 Pageant Lane. For more information, you can call Carrie Ann Dell. This is a 4-hour class for high school students between the ages of 15 and 19, and it is free. For Clarksville Fire and Rescue, CFR has completed job offers for the next 30 firefighters. They are slated to start the next 6-month academy on March 23rd. CFR welcomes Danny Calhoun as the new materials manager. He comes to CFR as a retired CW3 with a master's degree in logistics and over 20 years of experience in material management. CFR expects its newest rescue truck this week. It will be located at Station 3. And our next promotion is next Monday, March 9th. District Chief Chris Ireland will be promoted to Assistant Chief of the Maintenance Division. He will replace Assistant Chief Bobby Nall, who will retire on March 6th after 30 years of service. Chief Nall spent the last 6 years leading the Maintenance Division through its transition from 24-hour shift personnel to the self-sustaining Maintenance Division it is today. And that concludes my report.
All right, thank you, Madam Chair. Any comment or question regarding this committee?
I have one question.
Councilman Smith, you're recognized.
I heard some good news about Summit Heights and that Spring Fest. You know what will be considered in that, the concept of that, fest?
I will ask Chief Burdine to reach out to you with that answer.
Thank you so much. It's in my ward, that's why I asked.
Any more comment or question regarding this committee report? All right, thank you. We're now ready for Transportation, Streets, and Garage Committee. Chairman Smith, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. The TSG reports are as follows. CTS transported a total of 36,043 riders on the fixed route buses in February, which included 6,736 seniors who rode for free. Also, CTS transported 4,350 riders on paratransit vehicles. And for the month of February, the total riders was 40,393. I will now move on to the city garage report. There was a total number of citywide work orders totaling 442. I will move on down now to the gas that was purchased at the garage for on-site fuel pumps. Unleaded cost for gas was $61,332. Unleaded gallons total for that was 28,348. Diesel total was 20,417. Diesel total gallons was 8,033. Fuel cost for unleaded, it increased within a month. The increase was 3.3%. It was $2.11 and it increased to $2.18, and that was in the month of February 23rd. Also, fuel cost for diesel was $2.67 per gallon. It was also an increase of 9.8%, from $2.43 to $2.67. I have no report from the street department, and this concludes my report. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Madam Chair. Any comment or question regarding this committee report? Seeing none, we're now ready for mayor and council member comments. Any member have a comment they wish to make? Councilman Smith, you're recognized.
I'll just say, I want to congratulate my sister out there, Wanda Allen. People keep getting me mixed up with you, talking about congratulations, girl. No, I'm not the one who is the director of the Housing Authority, but I just say congratulations to you. Keep up the good work, and let me hear good news, because you're in my ward. I'll be on you. Thank you, Mayor.
All right, you heard it here first. All right. Okay, any other member have a comment? Let me remind members that the annual ethics survey that we do every year closes tomorrow at 4:30. Sorry to report there's only 2 members of the council that have completed that survey for a paltry 18% response rate. We need your response rates, please. So if you need the link again, please reach out to the clerk via email and she will send that out. Madam Clerk, if that's okay. But please, it takes less than 5 minutes to complete that annual ethics survey that's done by our internal audit department. All right, that completes our business. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Without objection, we're adjourned.